yes. Yes, indeed. Hey, all my dear friends, welcome to Saturday Night Star Trek Clobbering Times. This is you, number 172 on YouTube, 872 overall, and I am just as pleased as punch. I'm to see you all here tonight, and even more than that. Thank you, everyone, for showing up here. We're just this is the best. It's always the best being here. And it's the best, not just because of you guys. No offense, you guys are fantastic, but it's the bestest best because of my wonderful first officer, the amazing, the beautiful, the magnificent, the brilliant RAQUEL, RM Commander Briggs. Welcome, Commander.
That is such a generous and thoughtful and loving welcome. I love you so much. Thank you. It's so great to be here. And I feel the exact same way about you and many, many of the people in our chat. Hey, everyone. So good to see you. It's Saturday Night Star Trek. Let's do it.
Yes, indeed. What a week this has been. I've been all over the place. This is my third stream today, and this is the one. I mean, again, I just want to give a big shout out to. Oh, look, there you go. I always forget to do this. Eric K's the man. Eric K put the link up there before I get a chance to, because with my memory, you never know. But I would like, before I get started on show notes, have my wonderful co-host and first officer talk about her literary works.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's totally not necessary. It's so generous of you. Yeah, I write science fiction stories. I have loved short story fiction forms, especially science fiction forms, since childhood. And so I write science fiction, including nonfiction, when I'm doing my scholarly thing. That said, you can get them on Amazon and you can get them on your Kindle device. Just look for me, RM Briggs, on Amazon or on your Kindle device. And can I just say to whomever bought all of the copies last week, 6 copies of my stories, I just want to say thank you so much. I know it's somebody in this community or somebodies in this community, and I just want to say how much I love you and thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. Hopefully we can create enough buzz around these stories that we can get them bound in a proper book, and I can send you all copies. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Always appreciate the support. Well, I tell you what, again, been streaming some more and just having a wonderful time. I want to thank my magnificent retro blasting buddies for letting me be a part of their wonderful online con event called Iconicon. It has been terrific. I was part of 4 panels, hosted one, in fact, here Wednesday night.
Your performance has been outstanding. I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry to derail your train of thought and take my moment for your pause there, but just your performance has been outstanding. I am having a blast with Iconicon, and just especially with the people who are not only on the panels, but in the live chats. Scuba Pete and his friends have been wrenching some of these panels.
Yes.
He actually wrenched a panel I watched today on 80s James Bond, and I had such a wonderful time. There are just some really super special people in this community who are just wonderful people. They're just brilliant. They're very knowledgeable, but not only that, they're very kind and so good at building that sense of family and community. And Scuba Pete is one of those people. So I've enjoyed the panels, and I've also enjoyed the camaraderie and all that buzz and fun that we're building in those live chats. So if you haven't checked out Iconicon yet, folks, you must just do it. You'll be so happy that you did.
Yes, here's the playlist. I put that in, and it's also in my description below. There's the playlist of the videos. The one, of course, obviously they still are doing a few tonight, and they have one more day to go. And they got a lot of great panels and videos set up. They've been doing this since Wednesday. Man, they are going to be tired. My wonderful retro lesson buddies, they're going to conk out Monday after this. But Michael and Melinda have worked tirelessly. Melinda Melinda has spent months preparing this, putting all this together. I love you, Melinda. If you're out there, I hope you're getting some rest. I know you're not listening to me now, but I love Melinda, love Michael. They are very dear friends, and they just were too kind to include me. I was so honored, and I tell you, the panel that I hosted on my channel the other day, Comic Shops of the '80s.
Yeah.
I was so shocked how many people showed up for it. And how many wonderful, wonderful things people. Well, I didn't think they wanted to care because Retro Blasting really doesn't do much about comics, but they let me do that. And,
because you're famous when it comes to comic books, and so many other comic book store owners are friends with you. You are such a wonderful fountain of knowledge. You should not be surprised at all. I'm surprised that it wasn't 3 times that amount, because I think that you're just a giant brain, and I just enjoy hearing you talk about the comic book industry, especially at that time in the heyday, right?
It was a wonderful time, and it was just great getting to talk about it, something I talk about a lot. And it was just one of the most wonderful times in my life where I met so many wonderful friends. But the thing is, it's a lot like now because I'm meeting so many wonderful friends here, and it's just great. And but yeah, so many people have showed up, and so many people had a lot of great feedback for that. And today, and then the other night, I sat on the panel for British TV of the '80s, enjoyed that, and two panels today was on James Bond of the '80s and Return of the Jedi panel back to back there, and so. It's just fantastic. And if you follow that link there, everyone, and it's in my description below as well, you could find something for everyone if you lived in the 80s or just a fan of the 80s. It's just truly amazing. And I love Retro Blasting, and I love Iconicon. So I really appreciate it. And I hope you've all been enjoying it. I see some people in the chat have saying that they have enjoyed it. So
That's good.
Let's see. Well, now I'm going to get on with saying some hellos real quick, and then we'll get on to our reviews, because we've completed, folks, in our mission. Let's see, Star Trek the original series, Star Trek the animated series, and the Star Trek films of the original crew, and now we are on to Star Trek: The Next Generation, and we're, for better or worse, we're going to be here. Hey, we're going to have fun. We're kid. We're gonna be very fair and try to have a good time, and looking forward to it. But before we do that, I want to say some hellos, because we have so many great people already here tonight.
We do.
The great Steve Mitchum. What's up, bro? Good to see you, buddy.
Steve, Maddie's daddy.
Maddie's daddy, indeed. Good to see you, brother. Talking about the comic shops of the 80s. That's how I met him. Almost 40 years ago. I'm trying to world. RN Feliciano.
Hey, Raymond.
Good to see you, buddy. I don't know if say hi to Sandra for us. I don't know if she's around, but please say hi to her for us. Snortapoopus, Cuber.
Snortapoopus, Cuber.
Everyone loves how you do that. Even I was on our good buddy Nick Weiser's stream last night talking about comics, and Dr. Hercumonkey. Remember him? I don't know where he is, but lately he came in and I gave him the name. Did it my usual way, and he said, "Yeah, that's great. He loves that." And Nick says he loves the way you do Snortapoopus. The great Lord Thoth. What's up, buddy? Avon lives, and long live the Legion, brother. It is great to see you, my friend. Canadian Spider-Man, who does whatever a Canadian Spider can.
Yeah, and thank you so much for your hospitality on Friday night frolics. It was so good to be on that panel. I had a great time, and you were great company for the whole night. Thank you so much for your hospitality. You're such a great wrench and such a great host. Thank you.
Oh, well, there you go. Cool. Sorry I missed that one. I did. Paulie was on there as well. I just get a chance to go over there. I didn't know what was going on. I was dealing with so much other stuff there. But Canadian Spidey, always great to see you, bro. D. Bud Martin, one of my fellow co-conspirators.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming.
The lovely and wonderful Arwen Avalon. Arwen, is so lovely to see you, my dear. Thank you for being here, my dear.
Beautiful, wonderful person. I'm so happy you're here.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. J-Man, what's up, bud?
Yay.
Good to see you there, man. Liger fan, hey, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here.
Want your tots? Better guard your tots.
The great master of all that is wrench in Canadian, and that is, of course, Chris Persia. Okay, buddy.
Mwah, mwah.
Great to
I love
see
you.
you. Appreciate you, man. Crucible the Crazed.
Such a great name.
What is up? Indeed, indeed, indeed.
Good to see you.
Good to see you there, man. Your Muslim uncle. What's up, buddy?
Yay! Good to see you, fine sir. And I'm also having a great time at Iconicon, and I love that that you put your support for Clobby in the live chat. Just love it. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, we appreciate you, man. Absolutely. Let's see. The great Eric K, the Bronze Surfer. What's up, bud?
Love, love, love you.
Always good to see you.
And you got your socks. You got your community
Yo,
gift from the
did he?
first crew. Do you have any photographs of of your feet? I would love to see some photographs of your feet, Eric, if you have them handy. Handy? And they're your feet?
Oh, Lord.
I know, I'm terrible. You throw your fruit
Don't
at
go to
me.
any trouble, Eric. I'm just kidding, man. Oh, Kal-El 48. Hey, good to see you. Ash is here. Look at that. Ash Singh. What's up, buddy?
Sat Shri Akal. I love you so much. I'm so happy you're here. Let's TNG, baby.
Great to see you. I have not taken photos of my feet yet. Yeah, that's okay, Eric. Okay. Zathras is here. I don't know which Zathras, but Zathras do. Zathras be here, and he doesn't know where else to be. So I can't even think of a good thing to say. I just like talking like Zathras. Good to see you, Zathras. And they call him Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete! I love you.
Wolfie 762. Great to see you. JT Kirk, buddy. All right, JT Kirk.
Nice to see you. Also, a person who has Spock socks.
Another wonderful lady, Anti-Derivative Jill. It is a pleasure. Great to see you.
Yay. I had such a great time with you on Friday night. It's so good to see you. Welcome back. Thank you for your support.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Jobber, what's up? Just Joe 47. Good to see you, brother.
Yay,
Always
Jabber.
a pleasure, man. Rod Thunderheart. Hey,
Yay, Rod. Rod Thunderheart. He totally sounds like a superhero.
He does. He does. Absolutely.
It's the perfect name.
Another beautiful lady, Katie Carr. Always a pleasure, my dear. Thank you for being here.
Ballerina
Katie.
Goddess, welcome.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Phantom Outsider, buddy.
Yay.
Well, it's that time because the last one I got here is Steve Thompson. And you know what that means? We have three.
What? Oh, these are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. Welcome, Steve. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and the show.
Welcome to the Steves, everyone. Hello. Well, all righty, folks. May as well just get to it. I don't have a picture of that brick, the brick that you have. Forgot to get a picture of it. Oops.
I bet you it's
I'll get one, though.
On Google.
Oh, I'll get one. Yeah, I'll get one.
Yeah, so
all about that.
A familiar theme around here. We like to launch off of each episode with little snippets and little bits of information and a really tight summary of what we're going to be talking about. And how we've achieved that is through these Paula M. Block texts that are co-written by her husband, Terry J. Erdman. And this one has the christening, The Blessing of Ronald D. Moore, Star Trek 365, The Next Generation. So, as many of you know, we live in a time where there is a lot of user-generated content out there on the internet. And because of that, especially when it comes to places like Memory Alpha, we have lots of changes that are happening. So we have some revisions and some people adding things that are not facts so much as they are factoids. So they're not true, but they're passed around fandom so much that people assume they're true. And we see this on IMDb, we see this on Memory Alpha, and so on and so forth. So around here on CLOBBERIN Treks, we like to make sure that we use vetted material that has been received a blessing and has gone through the professional editing process. And so that's why we use this text.
Yeah. I'm almost there. I'm finding it. So I usually had the picture, I just totally forgot this time because we have that old picture from the block one. We were doing something different last time, so I'm sorry, everyone.
No, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. Why don't I just get started?
Okay, well, yeah, I got it now. The
good.
Oh no, I don't. What
Okay.
are you doing? Okay. So yeah, just go ahead. I'll get it, and we'll have it next time.
So tonight we're going to be talking about the first 4 episodes. We try to do 4 episodes because, it's the sweet spot where we can cover as many episodes as we possibly can, because around here we're doing the 735, 1966 to 2005 Star Trek. So, and we're doing it over the course of a year. Which is a tradition of mine that I have done every year for many years, ever since it was possible to do so. So tonight we're going to start with Encounter at Farpoint, Season 1, Episode 1 and 2. Many of you will remember that hot September 28th day in 1987 when this debuted. And how much anticipation we had, and how nervous we were about this new Star Trek. So with that said, I am on. This block text is set up a little bit differently than the TOS. It's on black paper, so it's a little bit difficult to read. I should also say that I read extemporaneously, so don't throw fruit at me. I don't have time to read an entire book and stand around practicing it like it's the news. So if you would please, if you have this text, would you turn to page 24 and we'll get started. Captain Jean-Luc Picard's first assignment aboard Starfleet's new flagship, the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D, is intriguing. Solve the mystery of Farpoint Station. Because the station is on Deneb 4, a planet located far beyond the explored portion of the galaxy, Picard's goal is to negotiate a friendly agreement that will allow Starfleet to use the base. Before he does that, however, he must determine how the low-tech Bandi, the owners and operators of the station, managed to construct such an impressive high-tech facility. Captain Picard's efforts to reach Farpoint are hampered by Q, the arrogant representative of an all-powerful species that considers humanity too barbaric for space exploration. Appointing himself judge, jury, and executioner, Q indicts the Enterprise crew as members of a grievously savage race, and threatens to sentence them accordingly unless Picard can find a tangible way to prove that the human race has matured. Actor John DeLance found himself thinking about Lady Carolyn Lamb's famous assessment of Lord Byron as he read about the character Q in Encounter at Farpoint. Excuse me. That may account for his devilishly charming and occasionally sinister portrayal of the omnipotent Q. I think of him as kind of a naughty boy, says DeLance. You're not quite sure what's going to happen with him. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Although Q is one of the most popular guest characters in the Star Trek pantheon, so popular that he later made appearances on Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Voyager, he likely wouldn't exist at all if it hadn't have been for a disagreement between Paramount studio executives and Gene Roddenberry. Roddenberry had asked Star Trek veteran Dorothy D.C. Fontana, story editor on the original series for 2 of its 3 seasons, to write the pilot for The Next Generation. He instructed her to write an hour-long pilot. The studio, however, was pushing for a 2-hour TV movie. The studio ultimately won the dispute. So, to flesh out the piece, Roddenberry inserted the subplot about Q into Fontana's completed script. At least superficially, Q seems to have a great deal in common, with Trelane, the omnipotent child god from the TOS episode, The Squire of Gothos. I agree with that. But in the hands of the talented DeLance, what might have been an annoying reread became an audience favorite. At once, the eternal gadfly, oh, nice, to Socrates there, to Captain Jean-Luc Picard, and at the same time, a perversely motivated being who occasionally seems to have the best interests of humanity at heart. So, what did you think of the coverage?
Well, pretty interesting, of course. I'm not, again, yes, I don't have the book, so I
Hmm.
do find it. Yeah, it's. I did not know that about the. We're supposed to say Delance, not Delancey, as everyone says.
Yeah,
Or
it's yeah, I'm not sure.
okay, no, that's fine.
And I'm actually never sure because
I
you
just
know.
always assumed Delancey, but yeah, Delance is fine.
Yeah.
Um, it's you know, I was really, kind of really looking forward to this show
Hmm.
in 1987. As strange as that may sound, as a hardcore original series guy, I was actually, again, maybe it's the comic book geek in me,
Hmm.
fine with other things going on in this universe, a new crew and stuff. Well, we were getting a few movies, as we all know. It wasn't the same crew, but I was really kind of looking forward to it. And when I watched Encounter at Farpoint, um, I liked it. I thought it was a fairly decent start. I mean, does it have its faults? Yes. Now going back reviewing it and that kind of stuff. But when I first saw it in 1987, I thought, okay, this is something that we can give it a chance. Obviously, it's so you can't hold any show by its you can't really judge any show by its pilot.
No.
Uh, the only thing you're supposed to take away is, do I want to watch next week? Do I want to see
Yeah.
what unfolds on the series? It did that for me.
Yeah.
Um,
And TV was very much different back then too. So, there was all of this passion from the fans, anticipation from the fans, but there also wasn't this mechanism where you could just switch the channel. That there were a lot of things going on at that time which didn't make switching the channel work, especially in Canada when this was broadcast. I believe it was after Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. So there was still that idea that we were still captivated by our televisions and didn't have 9 million channels, right?
well, absolutely. And this, by the way, this show was not a network show. This was a syndicated show here. Syndication meant that it could run at any hour, and
Yeah.
it ran different hour in different different cities. By the way, Jesus is My King and Steve Arness are both here. I had
Hey.
Steve Thompson was the one before that, so that's like three Steves in a row, and we have four Steves here.
These are the Steves I know, I know. These are the Steves I know.
There you go. You got a double shot there. So here it was syndicated, which for those who are not familiar, who weren't around back then, not on the network. So you could, I think we got it like late Sunday nights or something, and I was pretty excited about it. And just because, yeah, I mean, look, we knew. Hey, Dave, Bob, good to see you, brother.
Hey.
We didn't know what to expect. I had
No.
been to a con in Houston a couple of weeks before it premiered, and we were seeing all kind of stuff about it. I was at Magil Barrett was there,
Hmm.
and Grace Whitney was there, and Nichelle Nichols there. It was a con. We got to see a lot of people, and there was a lot of buzz about this thing. So I I was pretty excited, and I was not disappointed by the pilot that much. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with the first season. They thought it was fairly promising. Of course, it's clunky. They're finding their way. They don't know what it's everything they're doing. And here in the very first episode, they give Star Trek a Mr. Mixius Pidalic. Superman fans will know what I'm talking about. An all-powerful imp, basically, and from another dimension that likes to torment Superman. That's what he was to me. That's what, and he wasn't. I mean, not exactly like Trelane, but similar. Which, of course, that's what kind of calls to mind. But Trelane, we find out at the end that big spoiler that he's a kid and stuff. But while we don't know that, Trelane's mannerisms are kind of similar to Q, but more selfish. By the way, if you're a fan of these, if you're a fan of Q, Peter David wrote a lot of. I mean, I know it's not canon, but he wrote a lot of really good books about the character. Q in Law, Q Squared, and which deals with Trelane and Gary Mitchell. Captain 300 Sub Spock, what's up, buddy? But I found this episode to be do a fairly decent job of introducing the characters. And let's face it, soft spot, that scene with McCoy, oh my God.
It was pretty spectacular that he did that, and it was a huge surprise for the cast and crew. It was something that Gene had worked out with Dee, and Dee was so flattered, so honored that he basically nearly refused to be paid for it. So, and then of course they
Wow.
honored him by releasing that like a, I want to call it an action figure. I don't really know how to refer to it, but one of those, you know,
One figures.
yeah, one of those figures, and so it was licensed, and yeah,
Oh,
everyone here knows how much I love Dee. So
yeah.
I just thought it was great that it was kept a huge secret, and that Dee was so gracious. He just said, you know, I don't really have to be paid for this. Thank you for the nod. You're my friend, and especially, you know, if you know just how private Dee was. DeForest Kelly was so private. He never had anyone from TOS, not even Nimoy, over to his home. So he had a special relationship with Gene Roddenberry, and you know, this was just great that he did this.
Yeah. Oh, there was one, and it's a beautiful scene. It always gets me. Pilots have a tough job. They got to hook you at least a little bit. Yeah, yes, and that's pronounced, by the way. You know, Superman has to say Mr. Mixus-Pidlet's name backwards, and it's of course Kill Tip Zixum, Stephen Thompson. Just in case you're wondering about how it's pronounced.
Oh
But,
my goodness!
yes, look at that word. That word has to be a nightmare for the grammar police. Mr. Mixus-Pidlet. Look how it's spelled. Of course, he's put it backwards.
I can't see it on my.
Stephen Thompson put it up there backwards because see, Superman has to trick him into saying his name backwards to get rid of him for 90 days. That's a silly Golden Age comic. He's an all powerful little imp that can do anything. I mean, I refuse to believe it's possible that the writers of that episode, I know it was, I mean, whoever created Q, and I guess. I'm sure Roddenberry had a hand in it, I guess. I mean, you will know better than I, but someone read Superman comics. I'm just saying.
Well, that would be DC Fontana, right?
Well, she read Superman comics.
Yeah, she definitely read a Superman comic. She's one of those, and that doesn't surprise me because I've never considered DC Fontana a geek. I've always considered her a nerd. She's always loved science fiction, and has been, you know, she's a respected science fiction author. So for her to dig around and go into Superman and go into respected comics and look at these ideas and these tropes and the way that these short stories in these comics play out, because essentially that's, you know, unless they're serialized, that's what's happening. You're reading a short story. So yeah, I'm not shocked by that. And who doesn't love Superman? You have to love Superman.
Oh,
who
yes,
doesn't
you do.
love Superman?
Oh, of course. And so yeah, you know, if you want to use Batmite, everyone, Batmite was kind of, you know, similar as well. But yes, so Q, of course, that character could have really been bad if not so expertly played by Mr. Delancey, however you say it. He's a great character. I think I always liked. I mean, I enjoyed Q. You know, Trek did delve into that crazy area sometimes of omnipotent beings that were just so. And I think that's always a wonderful trope in Trek, where you show that, yeah, you know, we're not. Yeah, we were all advanced and stuff. It's the 23rd, now 24th century, but look what, you know, look what's out there that is we can't even comprehend yet. So I you know. Beings like Q, and I say that because I've heard people kind of complain about the character of Q being godlike or whatever. Mm-hmm. And compared to us, yes, or godlike and, you know, all powerful, if you will. But a great character. I mean, again, I don't think they overused him. They used him just enough. I mean, if he'd popped in every single episode, so I think this episode is pilots go. You could almost just do like a show on which Trek pilots, because there are 4. I mean, there are 5. I mean, right. Mm-hmm. Are the best, and I think this one does a pretty decent job, solid job of getting me to watch the next one. So you have some notes, I'm sure.
I do. Well, for me, like I said, I was still in high school, and so I was getting basically on the bus in a rural area. and sitting with my fellow nerds and geeks discussing this. And it was right at the outset of the beginning of the new school year. So we were super pumped. Not only were we waiting for Star Trek, but it was like the beginning of a new school year. And so we were all discussing it. So these are my notes as I watch it. As I watched it the day before yesterday or yesterday. Here it goes, folks. Encounter at Farpoint, also known as the Squire of Gothos, with a dash of Corbomite maneuver. Season 1, episode 17, and season 1, episode 10. Trelane is Q. Patty Stew is way too old and way too bald, and he's not French. DC Fontana was right about Stephen Mocht, and I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name, although I'm not sure what nationality he is. But I have always thought that Stephen Mocht would have been a much better Picard than Patty Stew. Of course, Patty Stew had to audition like 7 or 8 times, and or 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. I don't know. The story always changes, but it was several times. And of course, Gene Roddenberry didn't want him. Some people say a Patty Stew never ages. It's not that. It's that he's just always looked old. I wrote that in my notes thinking that would make Club. I said he had multiple auditions, just wanted him. But Gene Roddenberry didn't. He argued with Gene Roddenberry about the show Bible. A lot of people argued with him about the show Bible. I actually have a copy of the show Bible, and as you know, I do share the Bibles. I did have a few requests in the past for the TOS Bible. I sent that. So if you would like the TNG Bible, please get a hold of me on Twitter. I'd be happy to share it with you. Patty Stew complained about his character, his costume, and even Livingston. This is weird because why audition so many times then? Just quit. You're a B film actor. And then I've got Denise Crosby. Tasha Yar is a melodramatic cornball who is always insubordinate and crying. Marina Sirtis claims to have come from Skin Flicks. So she did Skin Flicks in her previous career, yet complained about a role where Gene's TNG Bible described her as a brilliant psychologist. She called herself a cheerleader with cheerleader hair or a bun in her head. What a ridiculous person. Also, why did she cry so much? At one point, that the sausage separates from the star drive section. Like, oh, and like she starts to get all like weepy-eyed, and I'm just like, stop it. Burton is simply fantastic as LaForge. Gates is a marvelous Crusher. Dee insisted on doing this appearance for free. Worf is in his TOS baldric, so many of you will recognize that gorgeous baldric from TOS, that wonderful Klingon sash that he wears over his chest. That's called a baldric, and it is from TOS. The forehead budget is engaged. Thank you, William Shatner, for your call for Cabbage Patch Klingons, as I call them. No two are alike, according to the orders of Star Trek V. Troy and Riker, Leah and Decker, the plan for phase 2 has been fulfilled. Check that box I put with an exclamation mark. Ferengi are still cannibals. A fun blast from the past. The TAS Rec Room has been fulfilled. Gene Roddenberry met Gene Dolgoff in 1973. Of course, Dolgoff is the inventor who created a holosuite in New York City in 1973. Gene met with him, and that's how he was inspired to make the Rec Room. Of course, here, though, in the pilot, we see it being called the holodeck, or instead of a holosuite, suite or a rec room, but it started out as a holo suite from Dolgoff and then became the rec room. And for those of you who are in the audience who are nerds, of course, you're going to love hearing that. For the rest of you, you just want me to be quiet. So let's move on. But if you're thinking about an actual holo suite, there was one in New York in 1973. Remember, Star Trek is science fiction, which means it is futurism. It is real. It can happen. It is fact. Wesley was rewritten as a young Gene Roddenberry. Please, couldn't we have just had the Leslie girl that they initially planned for, the young woman who would be Crusher's daughter, who had a photographic memory? In 1987, I totally thought after Wesley was on the bridge scene that Picard was Wesley's biological father and that Crusher and Picard were knocking boots behind the elder Crusher's back. So those are my notes.
Oh, this just in, folks. Wesley sucks. That's going to be in every review of mine, by the way.
Yeah.
Even when he does something right, but we don't see that for a long time.
So that was quite a roller coaster ride for you, Chloe. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna love it. No, don't be sorry. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm definitely with you. Yar. Well, none of the characters are particularly fleshed out in this first episode. I mean,
No.
which again, it's only an hour and a half, whatever, 90 minutes or whatever. You got to run there, Ash. That's cool, man. Just great to see you, buddy.
Bye, Ash.
Let's see. TNG all is A plus. Gives them all an A plus. Well, you're a kind critic, Ash, and we appreciate you. Ash, everyone. That's Ash's epic for tonight. Every episode is an A plus. Good night, everyone. They're the greatest ever. We might be a tad lower, but we really appreciate you, Asher. And by the way, Wesley sucks again. Yes, shut up, Wesley is also the case.
Yeah, I think that they just should have probably stuck with the Leslie character. I think having like a young woman with a photographic memory would have been preferable to Gene Roddenberry's sort of idealized vision of himself as a child.
Right, the first self-insert.
Yeah, and self-insert never works. I call it whenever I see it. I don't pull punches just because I particularly like someone or I love someone or I'm a fan or a casual viewer or reader. I just tell the truth, and this is a self-insert, and it doesn't work. They should have just left it the Leslie character.
Tough love. I mean, that's just the way it is. Wesley's just as a character that I don't know. Well, maybe not nobody, but very few like him, and he is a self-insert. And Roddenberry or not, you gotta call balls and strikes. You gotta just go.
You do.
But I'm relatively well disposed towards this pilot. I think I thought some of the stuff with the farpoint station was interesting and kind of certainly very Trek.
The alien creatures are absolutely beautiful.
The jellyfish.
And in Fandom, we call them the jellyfishers or the glowing jellyfish. And, that's what we call them in Fandom. Trekkies call it that. And so if you're at home and you're wondering why Clobby and I are calling them jellyfish, that's their nickname. And I found that to be a powerful and compelling story. It was just absolutely sensational. And I remember watching it in 87 and just being in awe of it. But I did get on the bus the next day and complain about Denise Crosby. Of course, all the boys wanted to have sex with her and thought that she was just absolutely hot heat. But I thought she was a dingbat. And and I love the little jellyfishers.
I think that's my favorite thing about. Of course, again, I'm not too rough on the characters yet because they're just getting started. But I really like the jellyfish. The whole just basic. I like the Q stuff, and I liked the very Trek idea of what was behind the whole story with the jellyfish, and the farpoint station and such with the bandy and that. So overall, I thought I'm well disposed towards this as a pilot goes. You could certainly do a lot worse. Did it need I mean, again, I never hold anything against any pilot or even early episode. Even though I'll trash an early episode of any show, but essentially the original series, even though they came out of the gate like gangbusters for the most part, and but that doesn't mean every show's that way. There are many shows I've been a big fan of that really had a clunky start.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, they're trying to feel their way. So yeah, I cut them a little slack at the same time.
Well, this is our first pilot too, right? Because like lots of people like to shoot the breeze on social media, and they're fast and furious with the. Well, I was watching it since the beginning, but we didn't get the cage until '89. So, and Gene was pretty proud of that, and he talked about it.
Yes.
So this was our first pilot, if you actually tell the truth and don't try to create a revisionist history like many people do on social media. So at this point, we had nothing to compare it to. We were just extremely excited that we were going to get to watch Star Trek again, and we were really hoping that they weren't going to poop the bed.
Yes, because even though Where No Man Has Gone Before is technically a second pilot, they didn't show it before Man Trap, or before a lot. It was stuck back, backwards.
Yeah.
So yes, it's not
exactly.
You're right. This is the first time a pilot had to do its job, which is to get on there and and sell people
and sell them on it and
sell it.
and prove to people that they weren't going to ruin it. And so it had a lot of weight to bear.
Yep, absolutely. And again, they also had the daunting task of competing with a legend. Remember, for 21 years, Star Trek had one iteration and had one meaning. When you said Star Trek, it was the crew of the Enterprise, Constitution class, no bloody A, B, C, or D. That was it.
Yeah.
And there was nothing these people, what's that old saying, tough act to follow?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta give them a little bit of slack there too. Yeah. They were competing with what was already a phenomenon, a world phenomenon.
Yeah, absolutely. And at that point, we had just started really settling into these cons that we were doing. So, and the toys were starting to become really super popular. And when I say toys, I don't mean toys so much as a lot of adults started collecting the props. So the remade props and stuff like that didn't really take off until 1993, I think, when they went super cheap with what was it, Playmates, that did the 93 ones that were super cheap. But prior to that, they were pretty expensive. Anyways, I'm digressing. What I'm saying is that we had just started to realize as fans that we were a family, that something very profound was happening here. We were starting to coalesce. We were starting to feel super protective over this thing that we love. And this is where we started saying, we're Trekkies, and this belongs to us, and this is us. And so it was dangerous. This was playing with fire, doing this in 1987. And when I say we had some talks in high school about this, we were arguing, and I think it was Mark D with a C's first year in college, and he was having some chats with the people he was going to school with too. So we were all on fire. We were all really super happy, and we just wanted it to go well.
Well, as all of my friends who were of course hardcore Trek fans as I am, we would, every time, we would watch an episode of this when it would come on, we were highly critical. We would talk on the phone, right after it was over. And record it, but we would still watch it when it's on. And we were always talking about, again, we kind of liked the pilot, watching, when it aired. But as the show went on, we were kind of brutal to it, but we were still watching it, though.
Yeah.
We were watching it. We would talk about, and we'll get into that a little bit when we get to our next one. But yeah, so we were, it was, it's not like anyone was ignoring it, but it was getting a lot of attention because it had the word Star Trek on it, and it had a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your rating, number one, of Encounter at Farpoint?
So I have 2 ratings.
And
when I told my husband this, and some of you know my husband, he belly laughed when I said that I was going to have two ratings for it. So my 1987 rating for this pilot episode was filled with glee, and I would go ahead and give it an A minus because I was very, very trepidatious. So very happy, very grateful, very excited, but trepidatious. So I would honestly say, in 1987, I would give this an A minus. If you went and spoke with my friends in high school, I'm sure that they would say, yep, that's about right. My modern 2021 rating is a C.
Okay. By the way, the addresser Steve Mitchum says Clobby hated the show back in. I had a lot of animosity towards the show, but the pilot I liked, and I always said I liked the pilot. And after that, I get. But see, what he's failing. What I guess maybe he doesn't know. Most of my ire was aimed at people who were trashing the original series in favor of the Next Generation. And when they did that, as a very young man, I hated it, and I'd say, "Oh no, it's garbage compared to it." You know.
So you did have arguments, because I argued with people about the same thing, because all of a sudden it was just like, oh yeah, it's so better. It's so much better. Look at the L cars. Look at everything. Nothing is beep boop Jolly Ranchers. Everything's way better. No one I hung out with actually talked like that. I don't know where that voice just came from, but it's just whatever. That's me like making fun of my buddies back then. But yeah, we argued about the same thing.
That was my animosity towards the show. Not so much the show. I watched it, and I was critical of it, and it was never. Yeah, I used to call it the next degradation, I called it dead penetration. I had all kind of names for it, and I did that because I was sick of people trashing the original show in its favor.
Yeah,
I mean, it's fun. By the way, I was also in my early 20s. I wasn't exactly what you would call all that mature either. I didn't like people trashing the original show and saying this one was better. I'll never. Again, you could say it now, and I don't care. I still won't agree with it, but I watched the show all the time, so I found it watchable sometimes, but I also was highly critical of it. But a lot of that was motivated by people coming. Yes, there was definitely, I'll admit to everyone right now, there was definitely a sense of, you're coming here and you're trying to replace my Real Trek with that. We called, hey, I'll do you one better, Steve. I used to refer to the original series as Real Trek.
Yeah.
And of course, now look, water under the bridge. Now I consider anything 66 through 05, whether I like an episode or a show or not, to be Real Trek, and anything after that to be filth. So
I agree, because like my analogy back then was like you start with a stew, and if you pour half the stew out and pour water into it, how tasty is the stew going to be? So I was pretty choked up about it. And just so I don't upset anti-derivative Jill, I absolutely love Star Trek. Chiefly, I love TOS. But it's the reason why I gave it such a low modern rating is because now I have done heavy research on the actual statements of the cast and crew, and how they feel about it, the things that were actually going on at that time. And I think some of them should be ashamed of themselves. So not a really big fan of why some of the things in the pilot didn't go over so well, and some of those reasons were that people were personally to blame for their antics and carrying on that they were doing back then. So it's best to trust 1987 Raquel's rating, because the 2021 Raquel's rating involves knowing what the people were thinking while they were filming it, and like I said, some of them they ought to be ashamed of themselves.
By the way, big welcome to a new arrival, Janet from another planet.
Interplanet Janet, she's a galaxy girl.
Tomorrow,
hey, Chicky.
Tomorrow is Janet's birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Happy birthday tomorrow, my dear.
Happy birthday, baby.
I put a J in the chat to wish her happy birthday, if you could. But yes, Jill, hey, look, I actually really like the show now. I'm going to be brutal and honest about what episode here and there I don't like, but I've since gone back just a number of years ago. not what these people have, the horrible crap some of these people have been saying, notwithstanding, and became far more well disposed towards Next Generation. I still original series is my favorite, but I went back a good number of years ago and watched them all again and really like it. Mm-hmm. Not every episode, but 7 years of it. So there will be a lot of fair review here. I promise you that. Keely Chow, what's up, man? Roll Tide.
Hey, Keely.
There's a lot of fair review here, and I won't let my feelings of what a lot of these people, the terrible things they've said, taint. If I like an episode, I'm going to say it no matter what.
Yes.
But I understand where my first officers come from for sure, absolutely, and it's tough. It's tough to separate the art from the artist sometimes, but I believe it's necessary to do that for me anyway. But that doesn't. I can't tell anyone else how to review something or how to feel about anything. I'm never in games, movies, comics. Welcome, by the way.
Yay!
So I only have in that case I only have the one rating. To that end, I only have the one rating. Yeah. And my one rating is it's a B.
That's not bad.
I actually give it a B because I think a pilot has a tough job.
It does.
And it has to sell, it has to do things. And for me, I could only go on a personal level. This pilot in 1987, and maybe that is my 1987 rating, because when I watched it the other night, you're a lot older, you see a lot more. But when I watched it the other night, I have to go by let's just go as a whole. So maybe I would have, if I just saw it this week, never before, who knows what I would have rated it. But I think I go with the B because I think the pilot does a few things right. It does a lot. It has a lot of faults.
Yeah.
But I do like the overall tone. I liked Q, and I kind of like the idea with the farpoint story. The farpoint story. Story station.
Beautiful story.
I think is an interesting story. Mm-hmm. I do like Spiner. Getting to meet Data, who's basically Quester. Look up the Quester tapes, folks.
Yeah.
And he really is. So, and now I will ask our wonderful chat for someone jumped the gun on me, but it's LT, so we let him get away with it.
Yeah, LT is going to lead the pack. Yeah, and I try really hard to separate my feelings about the statements that these people have made in public with their performance. But in the case of Denise Crosby, the thing is that she basically complained that she wasn't able to flex her muscles as an actress, and that she felt that she was very talented and that this was going to basically ruin her career. She didn't want to stand on behind a plank of wood and say "I captain" for the rest of her life, and that's basically what she said. So if she wants me to judge her performance and she considers herself this Oscar-worthy actress, wow, I'm gonna come back swinging. So I took my swing.
No, look, go for it. I mean, look, I don't think she was a very good actress either, to be quite honest, or much of a character, but that's mostly the writers. Plus, they didn't give, who knows, she's been around for 4 years. Maybe she's got, like I said, you talked about Troy. I think she's an absolutely terrible character early on. And at least they later on did a little more with her as a character. She's never my favorite character or anything, but at least they added a little bit more dimensions to her later down the road, but okay, Lord Thoth. B+. In 1987, when I saw it, I was so happy to see Star Trek again. So I have two rate. We're okay, folks. We got another 2-rater here. So I'm going to tell everyone right now, if you want to do 2 ratings, go for it. I say, because number one set the precedent, and I'm teasing Lord Thoth here, but I totally get it why you would do that. I really do. So, and maybe I'll do it on some episodes. I don't know, but I really get you there. So, and today C+. It really isn't a great episode. No, but it's a pilot. But I hear you, bud. Bop. Let's see here. Zathras say B+. Q made the show. I be Zathras. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to read this without Zathras saying you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't help it, man. I just like that your name is Zathras. It's so cool. And I love Zathras. He's a great character. Q made the show. I was hoping the jellyfish would have landed on West.
Yeah, the jellyfish were like, I just wanted more of them and perhaps less Q. I know a lot of people really love Q, but for me, this just felt way too much like Trelane. Like, I just felt like I felt like he was like Trelane. So, but I do respect your opinion, Zathras.
Well, Peter David agreed with you because he wrote a book where basically Trelane was Q's son. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Q squared. It was a good book. And Gary Mitchell's mentioned in there as well. Here we are. We got it. We're basically everyone's Harvey Dent tonight. The Two-Face. We got dual reviews. Jesus is my king. 68. 1987 grade. 8 out of 10 jellyfish infected with spurpies. B plus. 2021 grade. 6 out of 10 for intro of the new toxic crew. C minus, however. They do get extra credit in the intro of Q Pihard's true nemesis. Wow. I don't even know what to make of that one, Jesus. Whew. Man, dude.
Whew.
Jesus, the next generation. Scuba Pete B.
Scuba Pete! Love you.
Appreciate you. Jesus is my king, by the way. Thank you for that review, sir. Although the space jellies weren't my jam.
I makes me do the loud, ugly laugh every time. I love you, Scuba Pete.
I enjoyed seeing the new Enterprise. Yes, a buddy of mine called it the Enterprise. Duh. He did not like it. Seeing McCoy again and meeting the new crew, except for Wesley. Because, by the way, Wesley sucks. And by the way, if there are any Wesley fans here tonight, believe me, we won't be mean to you. We'll be mean to Wesley, but not you.
Can I get a round of applause for Scuba Pete?
Yeah.
Scuba Pete.
There you go.
So good.
Snortapoopa Scuba. C. This episode has the difficult task of having to introduce all of the regular characters while telling a compelling story. It manages to the first, but the story is somewhat lackluster. Where there? Okay, number 2. However, the conclusion is pure Star Trek and very satisfying. Yeah,
totally agree.
I'm with you right there. Snort.
Yeah, that's a great assessment. Love it.
Like an 8 out of K C plus. First time I saw this I was not that thrilled. Better on a rewatch now. Okay. Always loved the Q. Okay. I wonder if Picard apologized to the Bandy later. I don't know. Wonderful to see McCoy. Yeah, that was such a great scene. Good introduction, Wesley.
Love you, Eric K. That's a great assessment.
The thing is, it's not only that he's annoying, but he sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
By the way, did I mention that Wesley sucks, everyone? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Raymond Feliciano. I was in Germany, so thankfully I didn't see it first run. D plus. Wow, 5 out of 5. Shut up, Wesley's. Overacting from Stewart. I watched June prior to this. Sting was a better actor than him. Oh, 1 of 4. I'll get to the other ones if I can find it. Bro.
There's some honest ratings right there, and with some socio-historical context. Love you, Raymond Feliciano. Bring it, mister.
It's complicated to get to the second one. Here we go. I'll get it though. Slow plot. Q is the highlight. Data was great. I liked Crusher, but was too soon for a romantic triangle.
Yeah.
I would have streamlined the D, I guess, and made it more of a starship and less of a cruise liner with a lot. I've heard that said a lot, man.
Yep.
Don't worry, everyone. I'm trying to get to. That was 2. Wow, there's 4. Where's 3? I got to find your 3. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. There we go. Can we go straight to the board? Sandra's grades. The first 4 episodes are F, but she understands first seasons are hard to get their sea legs.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So, so since you're going to give, since you gave, Sandra's grades, I would like to just pause the show for 1 second and allow Clobby to catch up with where he's got to go in the chat. And I'll read Mark D with a C. So Mark D with a C.
Did they send you something?
It is, he can't make it tonight.
Yes,
he said he might be able to come in later, but he emailed me his responses. So I'll read them very quickly.
Go for it.
Encounter at Farpoint, A-. Great start to the new series, some overacting, rough character moments, but it shows the promise of TNG. Even though it's the next generation, it has classic Trek elements, an antagonist who is incredibly powerful, and the discovery of an unusual life form. Unfortunately, this episode is followed by many clunkers in the first season, but the launch was very good. Engage.
There you go. There you go. Crucible is a super biased. It's an A. I think that's okay. There you go. Nothing wrong with being biased. We all are.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Anti-derivative Jill. 1 of 5. A, I guess she means A minus because sometimes that confuses me between whether it's meant to be a separate, but I think it's an A minus. A minus for anti-derivative Jill. She can correct me if I'm wrong. I realized there was lots of turmoil over the writing of the pilot, and a lot of people don't really like it so much, but I do.
Oh,
I think it's fun. Also, McCoy, Jill, that McCoy scene is just, I mean, I can watch it a million times and it'll get me every time.
Yeah.
Gets me every time. It succeeds introducing us to the bridge crew, the ship, Q, and the holodeck. You know, Riker's reaction to the holodeck, I might add, is kind of, if you go back and watch that, he's even, this must be a big breakthrough holodeck because even he's astonished by it. So we must be at the Enterprise holodeck must be like the best ever. I mean, like the new thing, I guess that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Getting us involved in a mystery, and I like the giant jellyfish space creature plot.
Yeah, me too.
I do too. Absolutely. I love the teamwork and problem solving. We'll get straight away all throughout this episode, along with the general manner of respect everyone pays to one another. Just refreshing.
Yes.
Let's see here. I only give it a minus for the corny elements, like everything about Zorn, the semi-telepathy of Troy with Riker, or the terrible idea that Ferengi might add humanoids to their diet. Yeah, that's. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
We're going to talk about that after.
Well, that's 5. My favorite trivia for this episode is that Paramount wouldn't make an engine room. So Roddenberry wrote it into the script to make sure that that was built right away as is proper. Well, that makes sense.
And that is not lore. That is true. But he made one mistake, Jill, and that is that it's I believe it's in Michael Akuta's book where he speaks about the fact that Roddenberry wanted the NCC 1701D to be so advanced that all of the panels were black and they wouldn't light up unless they were being used. And that did not create enough background action. So it actually fell upon Akuta to create these wonderful stations and to bring LCARs to life, because it wasn't working, because behind them it was just a bunch of dark panels.
Okay, there you go.
Anyway.
And Crucible broke his what he wanted to say up, so I didn't see that from before. Non-biased a B. So another 2. We got another 2 for. See what you started. See what you started. Number 1.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's fine. I think it's funny.
I do love the change in name, though. Instead of Crucible the Crazed, now we've got Crucible the Super Cat.
Nice. D. Bud Martin, my boy. D minus, 1 of 2, and not just for Wesley, but Wesley does suck. I find the acting very stiff. I didn't like Trelane, so having Q in the first episode was a turnoff for me. Mr. Mitch has Piddlet. Come on, you're a comics guy, man. Of course, maybe you didn't like him either. Turn on for me, and they switched the gold and red shirts. Yeah, that was always something that aggravated me a little bit. Shouldn't be. I wouldn't have done that, but that's just me. Minor. Just saying. This episode made me not watch TNG until one of my customers assured me it had gotten better. That was at the end of season 3, Best of Both Worlds, and he was right. A lot of people would tell you that. Yeah, a lot of people.
That's D. Bud Martin's reflection is very accurate to that time. He's not somebody who's sort of shaped his memory through these kind thoughts or this fondness, this nostalgia that we all feel for TNG. Some of us were pretty darn nervous.
Yep. That's something that I've always thought. Some of that stuff about the post-atomic horror and all that kind of crap. I mean, it's in kind of Trek lore anyway, but. And now going back and watching that, of course, it's easy to do that through a different prism of 40 years later almost, or 30 some odd years later. So, but yeah, I hear you there, Snort. JT Kirk, indeed, LT. Thank you, by the way. 8.5 saucer separations out of 10. The pilot sets up so much for Trek moving forward, for better or worse. Clunky dialogue between the characters feels very Roddenberry. But it feels very. I got you. Data needs to wear an undershirt.
Don't you like his nipples? Those are android nipples. Do you have something against android nipples, JT Kirk? Of course, I'm totally kidding with you right now. I love you, JT Kirk.
Do android nipples dream of electric Wesleys? No.
I don't know.
All right, let's see here. Wolfie 762 B minus. I did not really get into the show until about season 4. This was a hell of a feat to bring Trek into the 24th century when you simultaneously have the film universe going on. Go Trek Phase 2.5. Indeed. Steve Mitchum. D for disappointing. Casting aside, there was no real plot. It was about the tech more than the story. And if the space jellyfish is so powerful, how were they able to capture and enslave it? Well, they said caught it weak. It was weak and something happened to it. So
it fed off of energy, and so
they off of energy. So they were only giving it enough to keep it alive.
The Bandy figured that out.
Yes. Let's see, which is kind of curious. Which is another question you could ask. All right. Katie Carr. The wonderful Katie Carr. Solid B plus. As this was the beginning of a new Trek, a new era for Trek, it must get the credit for catapulting a new generation of fans. And eventual series. Of an eventual series, sorry. Personally, the episode is nostalgia despite some flaw. Well,
agreed.
I totally can see that there.
Yeah.
Still Wheaton. Stephen Thompson. B minus, I think. McCoy returns. Yes. Saw Quester tapes live first broadcast. There you go. Never knew Sirtis came from Skin Flicks. Well, there were some I saw one of those sleazy horror films. You got.
Yeah, those are her words.
That's what she called it.
That's what she calls it.
Cheapo movies.
Yeah.
Also thought this was more Trelane Riker. Would grow on me. Will Wheaton is such a shill. He is that.
Yeah.
It's just worse than that. But yeah.
Preach, Stephen Thompson.
He's a jag-off.
Yep.
Oh, Katie, you have to leave. Oh, well, Katie.
Oh, no.
Well, thank you for being here, dear. It is always a pleasure. I hope you are doing well. You take care, girl.
Night, beautiful.
It is great to see you. We really appreciate you. Just Joe, Jabber B. Yeah, there was some clunky direction and acting, but Q was great. I also like Michael Bell, one of my favorite voice actors, a.k.a. Duke from the 80s, sorry. G.I. Joe cartoon. Yes, that guy did a lot of voice work. Got to play the real villain Zorn, and not to be confused with Jim Zorn, everyone. That's a stupid football reference that I hope none of you get because you watch. You know too much about football history. Let's see and you're from Seattle. Let's see here. Bop, bop, bop. I think we got it all. All right, everyone. I think we're about to move on to our next episode.
Great comments, everyone. I just enjoy everything you think and everything that you feel. And I am so honored that you are sharing it with us here tonight and allowing us to read it out. Just absolutely love it. Keep it coming.
Jill said, Wes can be entertaining. I don't hate him as much as everyone else does. Yeah, we do tend to be mean to Wes there, but that's okay, Jill. You're good.
I stick up for him all the time too, Jill.
I'm 45 minutes behind, but 45 minutes behind. Okay, well, your Muslim uncle, thank you. Oh, Chris Persia, there you go. I want to make sure we got some.
Oh, good.
B plus. It's a good thing they gave Marina the role of Deanna Troi instead of Tasha Yar, which she auditioned for, or poor Worf would never become chief of security.
Yeah, and we would have had Hernandez instead. So basically, Denise Crosby, she first wanted to do the Troy, which was the Ilea, and then she auditioned for the Hernandez role, and then Marina Sirtis, she auditioned for the Hernandez role and wound up in the Ilea role. So a lot of juggling went on behind the scenes. And it's great that you point that out, Chris Persia. Mwah. Mwah.
Phantom Outsider. Did you know that there is supposed to be a test footage of both Gil Gerard and Lee Majors and the Picard and Riker roles? How much better would that be? I don't know how much better it would be, but I did not know that. I've never heard that. So if that's true, I love Gil Gerard as Buck Rogers. I don't know how he would be on a Star Trek show. And Lee Majors, wow. I'm not so sure how that would have worked out, bud. But I like those guys. But
Stephen Mocked. Like when you think of Picard, Stephen Mocked. Show a picture of Stephen Mocked to yourself on Google. Look him up and have a look at Stephen Mocked. He would have been the perfect Picard, and he looks the part, much younger, more powerful, more. I almost want to use the word virile. And I also buy him as a Frenchman. Gene had a very particular idea for Picard. So Patty Stew, pretty unsatisfying once you know what was supposed to transpire. And of course, now we have to endure people making fun of us, where people are like, why does a French guy have a British accent? So
yeah.
But that's the reason why, folks, because, Justman wanted it and shoved him through, and Gene didn't. DC Fontana wanted Stephen Mocked, and I think he would have been great.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Oh. Did we get this one already, Stephen Thompson? B. McCoy returns. So, yeah. Oh, he must have put it in again.
Yep.
Look, everyone, I'm so far behind on. I put it in a few times. I'm so far, don't despair. It takes me a while to get to your chats because I have to stop the chat and read every new one. So I'm way, way, way behind. Oh my God, I'm way behind on these. Well, Stephen Thompson got the Jim Zorn thing now. He was a pretty good quarterback. Steve Largent, Jim Zorn. There you go. Jim Zorn to Steve Largent. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Then Dave Craig to Steve Largent, but that's another story. But you hate the Seahawks. You're a Raiders guy, Eric. Let's see.
In hindsight, after seeing Picard P-Hard season 1, I'd take anyone else as P-Hard. Yeah, LT, I totally agree.
Eric, I didn't miss him. I got Chris. It just took me a while to get there, man. It takes forever to get there, dude. Here we go. Uniform colors. Well, we got to get to the next episode, dude. So everyone, so I want to get the reviews quick, so I can't stop again.
I love how Jill was slightly scandalous and said, men in skants. She said that a while back.
Yeah, those skirts were weird.
She was looking at those legs.
Yeah, go Raiders. Well, not your Las Vegas Raiders. I hope you don't mean Lord Thoughts. I hope you mean Oakland. All right. Well,
yeah, Jobber. I totally agree, Jobber. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like she tried to make herself out to be like this Shakespearean actress, and that the whole thing was beneath her. And how'd that work out for you? You're an extra on the CW. Right on, Jobber. If you're wondering what I'm referring to, Jobber at 21 minutes past the hour says Crosby was also in some cheapo horror flick that Red Letter Media reviewed. Her post-Trek career didn't really work out. Yeah. Like at all.
Yeah, indeed. No problem, Stephen. We got you, man. Stephen Thompson, we appreciate you there. Let's see. Now I'm getting told I missed stuff. It's tough to see everything. You missed my review. Huh? Did I miss your review, Phantom? Let's see. You missed my review, gave it B, and then I'm sorry, Phantom. I could have swore I saw it, but I'm just blind, I guess. Maybe, or it could have not been there. Sometimes it happens. Now
Ted Millage.
B now. C-listers.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Ted Millage, I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome. I've never seen your name here before. We're just doing our reviews, and I hope you will participate. So what we do is we talk a little bit about the episodes, and then we give the chat the opportunity to reflect and engage and leave their thoughts and comments too. So if you're wondering what all this mayhem is, Ted, welcome. So good of you to come. Thank you for joining us, and that's what we're doing right now. And I've interrupted my captain, so I'm going to throw it back to him. Sorry about that, boss man.
No problem. Ted Millage, it was good. I think you popped in at the stream the other day. A new friend, and good to see you, Ted. Thank you so much. You missed my review. Gave it B, then B now. B then B now. C-listers made a B. The return of McCoy, and remember, they had to create 2 characters each for Kirk, Picard, and Riker, Spock. data intro. Yes, absolutely. Let me see if I got everybody now, because Oakland all the way there, Lord Thoth. Bop, bop, bop.
Ted. Yeah, I'm Canadian, so I try and do it. I try and do the surnames and the first names through country of origin rather than the anglicized ones, and it's hit or miss with the Americans sometimes. So I do appreciate that so much, Ted. Such a pleasure to meet you.
Yep. Well, thanks for being here, Ted. And okay, we're ready to move on to is everyone ready to move on to the next episode? And we'll try to speed it up, folks, because this is a lot to cover with a pilot. So
yeah, so we covered 2 episodes. So let's burn through this. So,
right.
if you're unfamiliar with the format that we're doing here tonight, we use a reliable and vetted text, and the one we are using this evening in order to broach each episode and give us some talking points, we're reading from Star Trek 365: The Next Generation by Paula M. Block and her husband, Terry J. Erdman. This book has been blessed by Ronald D. Moore and has vetted contents. We are reading from, well, I'm reading from, extemporaneously, I might add, from page 30. We are covering The Naked Now, Season 1, Episode 3, because, of course, that pilot counts for 2, with the original air date of October 5th, 1987. Rendezvousing with the science ship Tsiolkovsky, the Enterprise crew discovers that all aboard the small vessel apparently died as a result of their own self-destructive behavior. As Dr. Crusher attempts to figure out what could have triggered the researchers' actions, members of Picard's own crew begin acting strangely, exhibiting symptoms that resemble extreme intoxication. Surprisingly, information on the bizarre disease is already in the Enterprise's medical database. It infected Captain James T. Kirk's crew aboard the NCC 1701 a century ago, but the virus has mutated since then, and the old antidote doesn't work anymore. When the dying star that the Silovsky crew has been monitoring begins to collapse, the Enterprise's immediate priority is to clear out of the area. Unfortunately, Wesley Crusher has commandeered engineering and the computer controls are offline, all of which means the ship isn't going anywhere. During TNG's first season, says Rick Berman, the characters were all kind of stumbling to find themselves, and the writers were kind of stumbling to find them as well. A case in point would be the first TNG episode to be produced after the pilot, The Naked Now. An update of the TOS episode The Naked Time, written by John D.F. Black, who also received a shared story credit for the TNG version. The producers referred to it as an homage to the original, not a redo, and included references to pertinent points in the earlier script as a demonstration of their honest intent. The motive here, as in the first version, was to give the Shadows audience a glimpse into the inner longings of key members of the Enterprise crew. The realization of that effort, however, pleased neither the fans nor the author of the teleplay, Dorothy D.C. Fontana, who replaced her name on the final product with the pseudonym J. Michael Bingham. And of course, you all know that I've told you before during our coverage of TOS that those are an amalgam of her brother's names. Particularly irksome to fans was the writer's use of young Wesley Crusher, whose science project, the portable tractor beam seen on the right in this text, provides the, oh boy, this is so overused, the Deus ex machina that saves the ship at the last minute. And you do not need to comment in the chat that my Latin is terrible. This is a Greek term. It just means God in the machine. And that's all the coverage on The Naked Time. I mean, The Naked Now. I did that on purpose. What'd you think of the coverage, Clobby?
Oh, interesting coverage. I think I didn't know that about Dorothy Fontana, or maybe you told me before. I may have forgotten about her using the names like that. Oh, boy. Yeah, let's just come right out of the box after the pilot and do a remake.
And the thing is that they're going directly against Gene's wishes. Have you read the Bible? The Bible specifically says that this is a no-no.
Yeah, he didn't like to do anything that was all that derivative of the original of the series.
Yeah.
In fact, he, to a point, in somewhat cases, I would think almost to a fault. It's like he didn't even want to barely mention it. And there they go. Very first one out the box.
And he specifically, like, there's an actual paragraph in the Bible that says, don't do this.
Yes. Well, let me tell you something. This episode here inspired me to, as soon as we got off the phone and we get off, the show was over and got on the phone with my friends, this became a routine saying. I'm not saying I invented it for the whole universe or anything, but I was the first time. I guess maybe I don't know where I heard it or whether I came up with it. I'm not saying I did, but I started saying this, and this is the episode that started it, and it's this: done before, done better.
Yeah. And
that became a common phrase amongst us when speaking of the episode we had just viewed on Sunday nights, I believe it was, on the syndicated episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation in the 80s. Every time we would see so many things that they're just swiping here and there, but there is no episode where it is more blatant. I mean, it's not even. I mean, look at the title.
Yeah, it's The Naked Time.
Just,
And why did they go against the Bible? So you've got Paul Lynch directing it. You've got Black taking the credit, and you've got Dorothy Fontana taking the credit. And so who's guarding the shop here? It's definitely Paul Lynch, and Paul Lynch deserves a kick in the bum because he went against the Bible. And you have to follow the Bible, and they're always complaining about Gene's Bibles. But at the same time, if they just listened to him, all the crappy episodes wouldn't exist. And if you're just joining us and you would like a copy of the Bible, the show Bible, written by Gene Roddenberry, I always have copies of these Bibles. I have them in PDF form. And if you would like a copy, please get a hold of me on Twitter and I'll share it with you. But yeah, this is The Naked Time, and it's not even done as well as The Naked Time. And what's worse is the effects are not as good. And here we are on October 5th, 1987, and and The Naked Time, So what would you do it for?
Again, their excuse was we want to do something to somehow open our characters up because we're just getting started and we want to give something that could show another side of them. It's just it's horse hockey, as
it is,
as Colonel Potter would say.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely a terrible call to make, and it's stupid. And I will one bit. You remember? Everyone remember? I mentioned Quester in the last episode. I mean, last episode review we did. Well, they flat out. And because, like you said, Roddenberry wasn't really involved in this one, right?
Yeah, well, no, he wasn't involved in this one, but DC Fontana's brothers were.
Well, and she was involved with Quester, but the Quester tapes is a scene that the network absolutely blew a gasket over, with Quester basically having sex with a woman because he's an android, right? And they weren't able. They kind of insinuated a little bit. Well, they flat out say it here.
Yeah.
And some people thought that was some kind of nod to, because Data is Quester in a lot of ways. I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But
they tried to make him unique. They started him out as pink, as a really dark, like a gunmetal gray. Westmore really worked him and didn't really know what to do until they did that silly putty skin color, and that's what stuck. But they were really trying to make him unique. I just don't think that they achieved what they were looking for, and that is to say nothing disparaging about Michael Westmore, who as a fellow licensed makeup artist, I think he's fabulous.
Well, yeah. In this episode, we'll talk about it more after you do your notes. How about that? Because that's there's really not a lot to say. Everyone knows
Yeah.
how this is so ridiculous.
Yeah, and the thing is with the Naked Time, we got to see the people. The thing I don't like about what happened with the Tsiolkovsky crew is we never get to see them. We don't care about the Tsiolkovsky people because anyway, just
Other they're corpses, yeah. And again,
Yeah.
just like Psi 2000, there's a room with frozen people in it, and a person taking clothes with their shower on. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's just anyway. So here are my notes that I took. Okay, Riker doesn't know sucked out, which is wrong, from blowout, which is correct. How did he become number one at the academy? This is the same snow job spray as the first episode. Noticeable to discerning fans who didn't know if they would accept this new Star Trek. So you notice that it's the same stuff you put on the Christmas tree that Q does to Tasha Yar. The guys I hung out with in 1987 loved the idea of Wesley Crusher, the idea of living on a Galaxy-class starship as a young man. These guys were high schoolers. People now say they always hated the character, but that's a lie and an exaggeration. He had a Vicky Stooping feel, like the Love Boat, and people weren't sure at first. This was an idea we were used to, and it cemented the idea of this luxury liner in space, no longer chiefly a military vessel. And so this really put people at odds. Do we want a luxury liner in space with a Vicky Stooping or not? And the guys who I was hanging out with in high school, they loved this idea because Wesley was just slightly younger than us, and they loved this idea that they could be on a starship. So it was hitting the demographic and the psychographic at the time, which is just the only point I wanted to make there.
No, by the way, Phantom Outsider, I didn't say he had sex. I said Roddenberry wanted him to have sex. He said it, and Roddenberry said that. I'm talking about Quester.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say he did.
Yeah.
I said Roddenberry wanted that to happen. But go ahead.
Yeah. The isolinear chips. Remember how I told you in TMP, Ilea's biobed that she's examined on, her exam bed? They remembered that the Akutas cut that up and made those isolinear chips. So Parasis Kambata is in the Naked now, more naked. Anyway, these are my notes. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just an old Trekkie. McDougal is more believable to me than Tasha Yar. And this is something that I thought in 1987, and it's something that I still believe now. I would have loved to have McDougal in Tasha Yar's role. They should have given it to her. We had different broadcasting standards in 1987. I have to admit, I roared with laughter at how risque this episode was. This was just unheard of, especially for this time and at this time of day. Denise Crosby is a horrible actress. And those are my notes. Sorry, everyone. You still there, Clobby?
Yeah, you hear me? Yeah, yeah. What happened?
And I don't know. It just went quiet. So I thought that I may have totally shocked you. So those are my notes.
Okay. No, but see on the question, no. Roddenberry wanted him to have sex, and the network took him to task for it. But there still is a scene. The kind of insinuation. But anyway, that's my buddy Phantom Outsider. Culture Casino.
Hey, Culture!
Wow.
Stays in the house.
I am a big fan of yours, sir. So it is an honor to have you pop in. Great to see you. Absolutely, sir. And I hope you are doing well, my friend. Yes. I guess she is terrible. This whole episode. Oh my God. Why? Again, it's just such a bad idea. You start out with a pilot that at least some of us thought was fairly agreeable and did a decent job in some ways. Then you come back with this stupid remake. And in 1987, we bitched about it a bit.
Of course we did.
And now it's just even worse. This is an embarrassing episode.
It is.
Yes, You have Wesley. Look, he's already annoying enough. I mean, you're not doing the character any favors by letting him be the O'Reilly of the episode. At least he didn't sing "I'll Take You Home, Kathleen." But Jesus
I was just gonna start singing, and I'm so happy
that you one more time. Jesus God! Look again, done before, done better. Let's just need the words in the series Bible should have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Good God. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this, and we can go quick. It's it's not, and again, there are episodes that definitely, I'm sure, suck worse, but this is embarrassing and cringy.
Yes.
Stupid decision. An asinine decision to be made.
Yeah. And the people who are on the Tsiolkovsky, I don't care about them. No,
we'll just use their ship. I mean, yes, they were all dead, but screw it. We'll use their ship to bounce off of.
Yeah.
For the just terrible.
Just absolutely awful.
Yeah.
And they should not have done it. They just should have left The Naked Time alone. The Naked Time was very compelling. It had almost a horror element to it. It was pure science fiction. It was hard science fiction. It was glorious, and the effects were much better, as was the costuming. The costuming for that episode is outstanding, which of course are the glorious drapes that were used to make those outfits. So I just
love Naked Time.
Yeah, The Naked Time is
episodes. Yeah.
It is a glorious episode, and it's far more compelling and realistic. It's hard science fiction. This is, I feel like somebody's decorating their Christmas trees. These dummies that are decorated in the spray snow. It doesn't work for me. The acting is terrible, and it goes against Roddenberry's Bible. And so they should have the Bible, although it's only 80. I believe it's 85 pages. It could be wrong there, but I believe it's 85 pages. They should be smacked about the head with the Bible.
Absolutely. So, number one, what is your rating of The Naked now?
Okay, C.
Wow, you're nicer than me. I'm going to go with a D-. Only because it only gets saved from the complete D because reasons. No, I mean, there was some reason. Oh yeah, they say James T. Kirk once. That's good enough. Yeah. So I'll give them the minus for it. No, I could have even been meaner to that, but this episode bites because
it does.
Not again. Look, by the way, Liger fan, I see what you're saying. There are a lot of worse episodes. What I'm saying is, this was a dumb idea. It didn't work. So, but
went against the Bible. You never go against the Bible, right. Especially when the old man is having difficulty. He had difficulty breathing, and he had difficulty walking at this point, and he's giving you the Bible. You just follow the Bible. And these people are always, I hate to use a curse word, but bitching, whining, and moaning about Gene and adhering to the Bible. But the thing is, every time they adhere to the Bible, they wind up with like the greatest episodes ever. And every time they deviate from it or try and give us science fantasy or action adventure or this other crap, it doesn't work.
Indeed. Just Joe 47, aka the Great Jobber, says D-. So many reasons. Rehashed the TOS up. Awful effects. Picard has the computer Google the original virus. I think it was actually Data and Riker, but yeah. Dr. Crusher makes an advanced cure, and freaking Wesley saves the ship. You forgot Wesley sucks. Oh, sorry. That was you got it, Jobber. Right as a raid, my good chap. Anti-derivative C is very generous.
Yeah, well, Jill,
rating? Sure.
Yeah, Jill, I try to give them as high. That's my reputation. It's actually my reputation in the classroom as well in real life. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt and inspire them, and I also try and give as high a marks as possible because walk a mile in someone else's shoes. But just sometimes the fail is so strong.
Now Raymond's happy because he was looking for that.
Yeah, well, more of that's coming, Raymond. More of that's coming.
Stephen Thompson, D. Too early for a script like this. Yar sees the magic of data. I got a crush on Dr. Hubba. Anyway, she's a redhead. We love her. An engineer that would move away for Geordi. Probably a good idea. Data saves the day. Punk Wesley. Yeah, that lady. I forgot what they said her name was now. It's funny how she's the chief engineer for one episode, then you never see her again. I've seen her in other things. But that lady, the lady chief engineer in that episode, whose name eludes me at the moment. I mean, her character name and her actress name eludes me. But they had a lady chief engineer in that one. Yes, with the blonde lady who was Wesley tricked her into going to the bridge.
Oh no, that's Sarah McDougal. I thought she worked security, didn't she?
No, the lady they called her chief engineer.
Did they?
I watched it again the other day.
Oh, yeah. I always thought Sarah McDougal was just like ops. I wasn't sure. Anyway, that's Brooke Bundy. And I absolutely love her. And that could actually be just like a burp in my brain since 1987, because I've always wanted her to have Yar's job. So it makes sense that I would burp my brain in that direction. Yeah. So point taken. But that's Sarah McDougal. She was in my notes, and that's why I was so like, make Sarah McDougal.
Yeah. Oh,
she was Tasha's job.
They called her chief engineer. They called her to the bridge, Wesley O'Reilly tricked her to go to the bridge.
She's gorgeous, and she would have made a hell of a chief of security.
Remember, Picard said, "What are you doing there? I need you down in the engineering." Yeah. So anyway, let's see here. Bop, bop, bop. Carissimo, like I said, the episode is not that memorable to me. So a D, because it's still better than S. Well, everything's better than STD. I mean, if that's your bar, then everything gets an A+.
Everything is better than filth. Do you know what I mean?
Crazy Pineapple. Hello there.
Hey, Crazy Pineapple.
It is good to see you, my friend. D. Data may be fully functional, but not this episode. I like it. There you go. I like it. Snorta Poopers. A C-.
Yes, sir.
This is a rehash of The Naked Time and less well done.
Yep.
Let's see here. The episode also begins the misuse of Wesley the Wonder Kind. Yeah, yep. Oh God, it certainly does. Who is clearly much more able than any of the ship's crew. Yes, he's the Gary Stew.
Yeah.
And he's the Roddenberry. Look, we love Roddenberry, but that was a self-insert.
Yep.
On his part.
Yep.
So, and not and again he defended, Wesley the character, because he felt like, and obviously look, Will Wheaton, even though I don't like him now, he was a child back then. And he was getting picked on, even though he's a dirtbag. He's a dirtbag adult now, so he gets everything, he deserves everything he gets. But at the time, he was a child, and you shouldn't have picked on him. It's the character, not his fault. Now he's a jackass, but I mean, then he was a kid. What are you going to do? All right, so Raymond Feliciano, 1 of 4, oh boy. D, 1 out of 5 fully functional androids. Poor reboot of The Naked Time. It's telling that the most memorable line of the entire season is, "I'm fully functional, trained in multiple techniques." Why is he, by the way? Why?
Yeah.
Why would Noonien Sung frickin' program Data for sex?
I mean, I don't mind. Like, that would be great. You know what I mean?
Like, why would he do it, though?
I know, but it would be absolutely wonderful for all of womankind to just have,
I guess that's why I did it then.
I've written a story that is very much like that. You ought to read it. I think that that you would be shocked if you read it. But yeah, not only that, it's like it highlights some of the worst acting in the history of Star Trek. Where she just starts going off about these rape gangs and all this other stuff, and it's absolutely the worst. The costumes are terrible.
Cringy.
It's just, it's very cringy. It's just absolutely awful.
Indeed. Met for pilot review. Oh, what? Oh, okay. I think if I was Picard and Riker had the balls to tell me not to beam in away teams, you would be cleaning Livingston's tank. I cleaned it up. Okay, we'll see. I got to find your other one there, Raymond. Wow, man. I hope this doesn't make me miss everybody. I'll I can't find your next one, Raymond. I'll find it as soon as I can. I don't want to lose my place. Lord Doth. I'll get to it, though, brother. I promise. D, awful episode. This was not fully functional or programmed in multiple techniques. Not even good under boob for not even good under boob. Yeah, exactly. For Yar's outfit. Counselor Cleavage wasn't empathic. Meh. Met indeed, old chum. Met indeed. Met indeed, old chum. But not as I like Steve Mitchum's review. Not worth reviewing.
I love you, Steve Mitchum. I love you.
Man, bro. D- for the great Devon Martin. Not only does it violate scripture, but Wesley says today. Oh, and you forgot that Wesley sucks. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets that once in a while. But the great KC is it strange? I think it means it maybe means it's strange how Riker was the only one who knew anything about this. Mm-hmm. A simple question to the computer would about the taking showers with the clothes on. Would have answered it. Why didn't Wesley's repulsor? Why didn't Wesley's repulsor did not work on the fragment? No clue. It worked to an extent, but they didn't have enough time or something, so they had to push the Tsiolkovsky for some reason. And as Snortopoopas points out, shut up, Wesley. You never say that too much. Okay, antiderivative Jill. 1 out of 5. D+. The main problem is the actors are asked to behave out of character, but the problem is they haven't established their characters enough to appreciate just how wacky they're behaving. That is a very, very salient point there.
Yes,
absolutely anti-deliberate.
We love you, Jill.
You're amazing. I give it this grade just for its complete unoriginality and awkwardness. This is seeping from every character that is so true.
Like poop, like they're all wearing a poopy diaper. Indeed. I love that word, seeping. Jill.
Wes's takeover of engineering will never hold a candle to Kathleen. Exactly. One more time.
Somebody poison his milk, please.
Yes, please. Jump to an Conscience of the King and poison his milk. The worst after the chief engineer says it would take weeks to refig the tractor beam to repulse. Yes. Wesley says, "Why can't you just see it in your head?" That just made me roll. I was like, "Oh, what? Why, Gene?
So terrible.
Why, Gene?"
Wolfie says a diaper full of soupy poopy.
Oh boy!
Oh no, soupy poop. He says, "Sorry, Wolfie."
Oh Lord! Our new friend Ted Millens. D. I remember it. So there is that middle of the road for the first season. Yes, this was kind of went off the road there. The 3. There we got the number 3 of our buddy Raymond. I think they wanted an excuse to show skin in this one. Boom chaka. Well. That was it. One final word. Spirpies.
Did somebody have spurpies?
Data does now. So.
You gotta be careful of that. Oh, maybe she did have spurpies. I wasn't looking for that.
And they called him Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete!
C-. Too much fluffing going on, both by Data and the environmental controls. Best part was the science vessel felt like USS Reliant. It was actually looks like the same ship that was for the USS Grissom from Trek 3. I forget the class, but it was the Grissom. They just reused the model, I guess, and then blew it up. I'm saying it was the Grissom. It was also a science vessel as well. A bop. Let's see here. What else we got?
I have Mark D with a C's. If you're ready for that.
Well, I'm trying to find. Hope I don't miss anyone, everyone. Go ahead.
The great Mark D with a C could not be with us this evening, so he has emailed me his feedback that he would have put into the live chat. So this is Mark D with a C. I can't do a really good Connecticut accent, so forgive me. B minus. Not a good choice for a second episode. Was way too derivative of TOS, the naked time now, used as an excuse to show the wild side of the new crew. Not entirely bad, but what were the writers thinking? And poor Data, when Tasha tells him it never happened, maybe his multiple techniques weren't programmed correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark D with a C, I love you. That's a pretty good comment.
Wolfie
ghosted him. She was like, that never happened.
Yes, it wasn't good enough. Wolfie 762 C minus day 2. We are already. Let's see if we can do it. Like we are already using 70-year-old movie era ships models. JK, I love what? Oh, just yeah. I love that they do that. Yeah, but this well, some of they in the first episode they used an Excelsior class ship, so some of them the ships hung around for a while. The designs, you know. But interesting, they had no problem with it right out of the gate. Story is meh, no character development meh, and Wesley sucks. Yeah. I know you didn't say Wesley sucks. I did. Sorry.
Wolfie.
Let me see here. Bob trying to find more reviews just in case. I skipped you, JT Kirk. I'm sorry. Let me find you, man. Oh, man, I'm blind.
We would never skip you, JT Kirk.
Oh, you know I would skip you, bro. Not on purpose, bub.
Never, ever.
And sometimes, where are you? I'm trying to find it, brother. Sorry about that.
StreamYards looks different on this side, and sometimes it stinks, folks.
Wow, I went a long way back and I can't find it. I might not be here.
Oh no!
I'm seeing some things you posted. JT, dude, I'm seeing some things you posted, one or two, but I'm not seeing.
Can I do my best checkoff right now? Yeah. Oh no!
No. Man, I'm still trying to find it, man. I'm so sorry. I hate when that happens. I can't. It's not on here, man. I'm not seeing it at all. If you could put it back in there, JT, I'm terribly sorry, dude. I'm not seeing it. I backtracked all the way back to way before I even asked for the reviews. I mean, for the ratings. And I'm double checking again. I'm sorry, everyone. By the way, JT, if you would be so kind as to pop that in, I'm terribly sorry. If you could pop it back in there, man, because I can't. It's not. I mean, sometimes I don't understand it. I went back to the beginning of them, and I'm not seeing it. I'm blind, but I'm not that blind because I'm putting my face right on the damn view screen right now.
Love you, Janet. Love you, Zathras.
If you could do that for me, JT.
55 minutes past the hour. Let me go find it, honey.
Yeah, because I'm still way back.
I will go and look.
If I miss anyone else, let me know because I'm at Phantom Outsider now. C for the laughs. On this ship, Yar has to seek out a fully functional android. That wasn't ever an issue in TOS. What was the hop skip Picard did? Oh, God, yeah. No one ever speaks of it. No one should speak of it. Yes. You found it?
I got JT Kirk. 7 Tasha under boobs or Data full functionalities out of 10. We don't know if that scene was a consensual activity or self-help until Measure of a Man. At least we know Tasha took her own measurements.
Thanks, JT. Sorry about that. See if I got anybody else before we get going here. Bop, bop, bop. Okay, yeah.
Oh. I think we might have something funny here. Just wait 1 second, boss. I beg your pardon. Anti-derivative Jill at 56 minutes past the hour says the plus in my D plus was strictly for Data and Yar because it is the aspect we all carry on about the most. Yeah, there was a lot of D going on in this episode.
Oh boy. Yes,
Jill,
indeed.
you're a naughty girl, Jill. You're a funny girl,
Oh, I see.
but you're
Yeah.
a naughty girl.
Oh man. Thanks, JT, again. Sorry about that, bud. Oh, this thing likes to skip on you too when you barely move it.
Visible the super cat. Oh, the chat. You guys are so funny. Yeah, your agonizer, please.
Oh, Zathras. Okay, let's see. 11:49. On the way, Zathras.
So funny.
I'm on the way to that one, Zath. Oh, did you say 49, Zath? I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it either.
Whoa.
Maybe
Zathras.
StreamYard is acting weird.
Zathras, you have disappeared into a warp in time, like you always do on the planet. So if you could send that again, buddy, because I am at that time spot and I can't find it, bro.
Yeah, Snortapoopus.
Oh, man.
Because, you know.
Leave Bester alone. Saw that
Yeah.
one. But I can't find it there, Zath.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Bester something there. Couldn't find it there, man. But again, this happens sometimes.
Whoa! StreamYard's just jumped on my side and about 4 people just popped right up.
What in the hell's wrong with you, StreamYards?
He says, hate to say it, but the clock is striking 12. Just jumped. Been a long week. Hate to run, but this is always a howl. Keep up the naked fight.
Well, buddy, appreciate it. If you want to, you can throw the ratings at me later anytime you want, man. But I would be interested in your ratings on the other
yes,
too.
Please.
But, dude, Avon lives and long live the Legion, my brother. We always appreciate you hanging with us, man.
Yeah, we love you, LT, and please say hello to Mrs. LT for us.
Zapdos, I'm sorry about that, bro. It didn't show up on my thing, but yeah, it's a dumb episode. But if you want to put a rating up there, buddy, I'd love to see your rating. And I'm sorry about that, man. I couldn't find it, and there've been a lot of them missing.
Yeah, well, on my side now, the comments are populating like 4 and 5 at a time now. So it's like blank, 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 and then 4 or 5. So I don't know what's going on with StreamYards. Maybe it's a busy night. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm gonna find another way to do I'm gonna work out a new system with the chat. Don't worry. Sorry about that, Zathras, bro. Well, everyone, I think we're gonna jump on to our next episode.
Yes,
so
let's
make some good time here because we. Are you ready?
Is everyone
ready for the next one? And anytime we miss someone, everyone, by the way, feel free to double it with the wait till our next one for the ratings and put both in there.
Yeah.
Put the previous one if we miss you. Okay, here we go, boys and girls. Oh boy.
Code of Honor, Season 1, Episode 4. Air date, October 12th, 1987. If you're following along, we are using Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block and her husband, Terry J. Erdman. This book has been christened by Ronald D. Moore. We're using it as the launch-off point for our discussion this evening on 4 episodes of The Next Generation. So if you have the text, please turn to the block or the tile number 31. The Enterprise mission logs on Ligon 2 treaty negotiation is to obtain a life-saving vaccine. It's complicated when the planetary leader abducts security chief Tasha Yar with the intention of making her his new wife. The Prime Directive demands that the crew abide by Ligon's strict code of honor, meaning they can't just beam Yar home. But when Picard learns that Yar and the leader's current wife are expected to engage in a battle to the death, he realizes that something other than simple diplomacy will be required. Ask any TNG cast member for his or her least favorite episode, and chances are the name of this episode will come up. The worst and the most embarrassing was that horrible
episode from the first season, Code of Honor, racist, Jonathan Frakes shares with audiences at convention appearances. Will Wheaton says much the same in venues that include his humorously acerbic TNG episode reviews at, I'm not going to plug his show. Although his primary gripe is the show's similarity to an episode from the original series. It borrows way too heavily from Amok Time. Immediately after an episode that was essentially a rewrite of another TOS classic, Wheaton states, we were still proving that we deserved the right to carry the Star Trek mantle. And when I look back at Code of Honor, I'm astonished that we weren't canceled by mid-season. The original script by Catherine Powers and Michael Barron reportedly focused on an alien species whose moral code was similar to that of Japan's ancient samurais. While the script indicated that two of the guards who protected the planetary leaders were racially black, somewhere along the way, a decision was made to transform the entire Ligonian culture into one more akin to tribal Africa, or more precisely, a dated, politically incorrect portrayal of tribal Africa. And casting followed suit. The result was an episode that rubbed everyone the wrong way. And that's the coverage on Code of Honor. What'd you think, boss?
Yeah, it's tough to argue with a lot of that, isn't it? Pretty bad decision. Everything about this episode, much like the last episode we talked about, is a bad decision. And when you have bad decisions, you probably end up with a bad episode, don't you?
Yeah.
And changing the aliens, the inhabitants of this planet the way they did from the reptilians to, well, the choice they made was pretty dumb. It didn't work out. And I could understand why it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. My biggest complaint about this episode, because, I'm not going to sit here and look, I understand you and I spoke a little bit about this before the show.
We did.
I understand how people could see definitely take offense at some of these things. However, I don't like slinging that R word around at people, calling people that because because I'm not so sure that's in the hearts of these people who made this episode or who accepted money to be in the episode.
Yeah.
And I mean everyone, not just the main cast, everyone who's there.
Clobby, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's just for a second, please, boss. I think that there's a really nice comment that I would love to see marqueed made by our Wolfman at 4 minutes past the hour. I would just love it if we could throw that up on the marquee. He says, go ahead, keep ignoring that Bible, watch those ratings trickle down like a soupy, poopy diaper. Wolfie. Ow! Great comment. Sorry, boss, go ahead.
No, I don't have much. We could speed through this because this episode is stupid. The only point I was trying to make is some of the things, as one of your favorite terms, hyperbole, that these people engage in calling. Well, when you call the episode as William Frakes, what's this William Frakes? Listen, dumbass Frakes. That's his name actually. Jonathan Frakes. Call it a quote unquote R word piece of shit.
Racist. Isn't it pronounced fakes? I thought it was
fakes. That's right. There you go. Yeah.
Yes, it's fakes.
You're kind of calling everybody. You're calling people that name. They are. And I said, I don't know that they are that. It was still. That doesn't mean it was a good decision. It was a stupid decision. But if you remove that element from it, let's just say they were the reptiles instead of the way it went. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a dumb episode. It's still lame. It's stupid. Let's say the exact same script, but they're just not. They were reptilian beings.
Mm-hmm.
Still garbage story.
Yes.
Still a bad everything about. And yes, I see thin little pieces of Amok Time here and there, but it's everything about it. You watch the whole episode, and if you just detach yourself from all that crap with again, I understand how people have a problem with the casting and all. I mean, what they did to this alien race. Everything about this episode is dull, and stupid, and boring, and the fight, and pretty much probably even more cringy than the last episode we did, if you could believe that.
Yeah.
So, and if someone, it's one thing saying it's racist, I'm saying, but calling. you're calling a lot of people that. It's like, I'm not big on just throwing that word at people who, in the frame of 1987 made a poor decision. Everyone, nobody was forced to be a part of that episode either, other than by contract, and that means the regular people there. But the guest actors and all that stuff, it was a gig, and it was embarrassing. This episode is an embarrassment in every way you could be an embarrassment. So you're not getting any defense of this episode from me. It sucks. It's a disgrace. And you have notes?
I do have notes, boss. Okay, folks, here it comes. Okay, Amok Time with reptilians. And if you're wondering what those reptilians were called, I love educating people on this, because this is really the episode that could have been something really super special. And it wound up being special for Stargate. But it would be the Talisians. So the reptilian race was called Talisian. And there was a director by the name of Russ Mayberry. They started discussing the story, and he alone suggested to change it to a 1940s African tribal theme. Gene Roddenberry fired him when he found this out. The great bird was suffering from several physical ailments and was often not on set, though he wrote and rewrote all the way up to data lore. So, reports at this time is he was having difficulty, even like he had cardiovascular disease, and he was winded if he even had to cross a room.
Wow.
So this is seldom included in the cast's reflections on this episode. It all could have been prevented if they would have just told Gene what Mayberry did. I blame the cast, not Roddenberry or Star Trek. The script was reptilians, and the man who decided that was fired immediately. I would just like to remind folks that Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, and Shatner would have never have allowed this episode to be made. They would have said something, and obviously, it was very obvious that Gene would listen, and Gene would never stand for this. He had quite a wonderful romantic relationship with Nichelle Nichols, and certainly was not ever a racist person.
No.
And then I just put in my notes, and I beg your pardon for using some moderate profanity. They had no qualms in bitching about everything else. So here you have these people that are complaining that they don't have enough lines. They're complaining about their uniforms. They're complaining about the Bible of the show. So they're complaining about lots of things, but they let this go. So I think it's sort of very. I think it's naive. I'm not going to say sort of. I'm going to come right out and say I think it's naive to think that that they're entirely blameless here. People love rewriting their history and their own memories to absolve themselves of their own responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Denise Crosby is awful, with 7 lines underneath awful. Picard gets an artifact date wrong. Whoa. And now I have in my notes, because I'm trying to be entirely honest and show fidelity to the socio-historical context of 1987. Now I hate Wesley. Everyone does. After the previous episode, there is absolutely no reason for him to be on the bridge. In 1987, I was now almost certain that he was Picard's child through an affair. Picard is an awful leader in many episodes. This is one of them. Luton says, "What do you know about needs and feelings, Captain?" I believe this may be one of the dumbest lines in all of Star Trek. What do you know about needs and feelings, Captain? I mean, who wrote that line? They need to be smacked. Luton's wife is as good as Tasha in combat. Yikes! Exclamation point. Urena? Why would Urena be able to kick Tasha's butt? Why is Tasha attracted to Luton? Based on what? Wesley becomes the annoying kid who won't go to bed, constantly appearing in the turbo lift. Somebody put that bratty kid to bed. Why did the Spectator die? The Spectator died for absolutely
Yeah,
no
holy
reason.
shit. Yes.
Why would they allow the Spectator to die? What was what was his crime?
That was horrible.
Yeah, so this makes no sense. And Urina's outfit was not torn, nor was her bicep. She was hit in the lower back. So and I put on here that if the cast would have spoken up sooner about defying the Bible and the director trying to completely rewrite a script that was later used on Stargate, if they would have just told Jean sooner, we could have had this marvelous idea of this reptilian race and this really great story that this wonderful woman wrote. Modern fans need to stop blaming the author of this story. She wrote a really great story and it was used on Stargate. People need to stop blaming Gene Roddenberry. The dude who did this got fired, and the cast. Why did the cast go along with this? Do not let the cast off the hook when they're like, "Oh, I object to it." Really? So you made sure that you were very vocal in objecting to all of these things, how many lines you got, what was happening with your character, whether or not you liked the story or even wanted the job. But on this score, you didn't say a single word until 25 years later. And then you were like, I objected to it. I'm sorry. I call BS, a big BS sandwich that creates the poopy diaper of your rhetoric.
They didn't care.
That's all I have to say about that.
They didn't give a crap at the time. Then everyone started complaining about it. They, oh, I thought it was horrible.
Oh, yeah. That's terrible.
I remember saying how horrible it was when I was on the set. Yeah, well, you didn't. So.
Yeah, you were more worried about your haircut and how many lines you were going to get, and if you thought your uniform looked good, and if you liked the bun in your hair, or if you had cheerleader hair, or how many times you said, "I, Captain," but you let all of this slide? No, I'm sorry. I don't believe you. Where's the gong, Clubby? Do we have a gong?
We need
a gong.
The gong, wrong. Apollonie's minion. Hey, my dear.
And the pepperoni.
Ironcaster, buddy, what's up? And Daryl the Derelict, welcome. Good to see you all there. Yeah, I can't. It cannot be ignored. I mean, everything else is stupid about this episode and disgusting, whatever. The scene with, because it's been a while since I've watched it, of course. The scene when the poor Spectator got killed, and they just said, "Screw it, he's dead. What the hell?" But the lady, when Tasha, the other lady dies. Oh yeah, we'll bring her back to life. What about the damn? What? Where? If
they let the Spectator die.
If McCoy had been, McCoy would have saved that guy if he'd have been there. And 100%. I guess Dr. Crusher. Picard just said, we got a guy who got killed minding his own business watching this stupid fight. Beam him up and save him.
Yeah.
Because Jesus, by the way, don't they have this technology? I guess they didn't have the technology. And that's another thing. Their technology is really inconsistent on this planet. Yeah. They've got transporters.
They do.
But they don't have any other technology. They said themselves it's nowhere near as advanced as the Federation. Right. Well, their transporters were enough to beam them from the surface right to the cargo bay.
Yes. And the vaccine? Why were they able to synthesize this vaccine? And yeah, it's just and take Tasha away when she was wearing her communicator. So why would they be able to beam her away? It's just. It's a stinker. It's a stinker. Mayberry should be flogged, and so should the cast. Yes. The cast and Mayberry. Don't blame Star Trek. Don't blame Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry was so mad he fired the guy on the spot halfway through filming. He didn't even let him finish. Everyone was mad. Who didn't do anything about this? Mayberry, who I don't know what his intentions were, but he's a very famous director who directed a lot of stuff in Hollywood, but this was a real stinker. He just should have left it the reptilians and went with the original story instead of trying to do something weird like he was doing. And the cast. You blame Mayberry and the cast. Just the biggest poopy diaper in the history
I
of
think
poopy diapers.
If they had the reptilians, we'd still be sitting here 40 years later going, yeah, that episode sucked. It's still stupid. It was just, we had less, it would be less controversial, but we'd be like, yeah.
But yeah.
Number one, give me your rating of the wonderful Code of Honor.
This is going to shock everyone. Everyone is going to be so shocked. This is an F. And I know that you guys have never heard me give an F before, but this, like, I actually was thinking to myself, is there something lower than an F? Like, could we call for erasure? Like, could we just get this erased out of Star Trek forever? It's terrible. And just obey the Bible. Don't play the hero, obey the Bible. And if you're whining about your haircut and your uniform, maybe you should also be whining about this script that you hate so much.
That you started hating when you found out everyone else did.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Jill, that is true. They didn't give any thought to anything here. So I also give it an F-, which I see Wolfie just did. We're about to ask. So what the hell? We'll go ahead and get this over with. Everyone, give us your rating of your favorite episode of all time, Code of Honor. F- for that's what I also give it, Wolfie.
Yeah, so it's okay. So you can make an F-, then I'm gonna give it an F-.
There you go.
If anyone knows of a lower grade, like just erase it.
Oh, shit.
If anybody knows of an actual grade that's lower than that, I would like it.
Oh my goodness. Well, they'll come up with one now, that's for sure. Stephen Thompson, D-. Was this episode written for Crosby? I don't know. I wonder if David Gerald was gone by this point. No, I mean, he was around, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if, I don't know. I think he did do something. So I like this work and wish he could have stayed on the show in the beginning. It might have helped. Well, he was involved with some stuff that went on later. Mm-hmm. Give it a rating of Men in Black Mind Eraser. The Men in Black Mind Eraser. There you go, Ironcaster. It's like, yeah.
To give you an idea of why
your mind.
To give you an idea of why Gene trusted this person and did not realize that he was going to go wacky like this. This guy, this Russ Mayberry, did The Monkees, Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, That Girl, The Brady Bunch, The Partridge Family, The Andy Griffith Show, McCloud, The Rockford Files, Kojak, The Fall Guy,
right.
Miami Vice, Dallas, Matlock. Like, this guy, no wonder Gene didn't realize he was going to be a complete nincompoop.
It was a bad decision. I don't think any evil was meant. That's just a bad decision.
Yeah.
Lady Briggs, please give it some raspberries. Also gave uppers. I'm shocked that I'm shocked, Daryl. Good to see you, Daryl. Phantom Outsider F. Right? F. Right, the society is the worst part. Right, the society. In this episode, they don't even allow Captain Grandpa to even accept his own gifts. The spectator died because someone saw Spaceballs. You'd think they'd scan things. D-Bud. No grade, never saw it, never will. Good. A wise policy. Bud.
Wise policy.
Yeah. Zathras, Code of Honor and Naked Now are both F.
Yep.
Gray 17 is Missing is a far better episode than this crap. B5 reference. Yes, I heartily agree, sir. But F-, I think, from Raymond. The Code of Boredom. Just a bad episode. Corporate Invades episodes suck. Q Raspberry. Absolutely. Snortabubas. Do some CGI and facial replacement. Make it an episode of filth. Mm-hmm. They probably should. Oh, I thought it was radio.
Just walked in the door.
Good to see you. In with a bunch of M's is basically always good to see you, my friend. Bop. The running cliche of the primitive tribal culture would bed bad. Oh, I guess would be bad enough. But this lowered it to a new level of annoying, stupid fight scene. Just poor. And there's the thing: were they dressed as primitives and looked like, but they had a technology. They had transporters and they had space. They were a spacefaring race. Now we've seen other spacefaring races in Trek that still dressed funny. I guess that's what you're going to say. It was just really a dumb call. Why would? Now I know he didn't think he was going to get picked on 20 years later and 30 years later and all that stuff, but at the time everyone probably just watched it and sucks. I know I watched it and goes, wow, this is some boring crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. The only plus keeping it from getting an F is that Wesley didn't save the ship. Well, there you go. Fair enough.
That would have made it worse.
It's a fair cop.
Oh no, Janet's leaving.
Oh well, Janet, I hope you have a wonderful birthday tomorrow, and thank you for being here, Janet.
Hey, in only a couple of hours, it's going to be your birthday, sweet lady. We love you. Happy birthday. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You beautiful person. I hope you have a lovely birthday, and I'm very happy that you were born. I hope you get spoiled, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Indeed. Wonderful, Janet. We'll love seeing you here. Thank you so much. Critical, the greatest. Just D minus, just D minus. I want to do worse, but I can't. Too nice. You are so nice. D minus for the great Eric K. Why not just beam her back? Yeah, she never lost her communicator. They came up with some gobbledygook reason with the prime directive and all this other kind of crap and stuff. The fact that they needed the vaccine, they found a dumb excuse for it, but it was so worried about an attack. Yeah, about an attack. Did Tasha forget any training? Stupid episode. Everything done.
Yeah.
Russ, what is wrong with you, man? Especially all those shows you mentioned they worked on. There were a lot of good shows. Anti-derivative Jill says, 1 of 5. If there were an episode I swore I would never watch again, it would be Code of Honor. But I did it for y'all. Oh, well, thank you.
Love you, Jill.
You take the hard knocks with us. We appreciate you there. Yeah. Fall on that sword with us there, I say. Why do you got this chap jumped on me? All right, anyway. What is this substance that can't be replicated? It's called, maybe it's red matter.
Hey, no filth.
No filth. Yeah, it can't be replicated. How convenient. Honestly, the answer to that question would be far more fascinating than anything else in this episode.
Yeah.
Too true.
Good
Absolutely,
point.
Jill. They are sexist and steal things and people because they want it. The behavior reminds me of Klingorks, yes, from STD, filth, in other words. Code of Honor, this episode is without honor, one-dimensional villains. It's so stupid. This episode is so damn stupid. I think the worst part was that ending when we find out that the lady that they bring back to life, crushes the dude by taking ending up with the other guy and taking us. It's like,
even as I battled, you cried out for me.
Oh, God. Next episode, please. The only time I smile the whole episode is the scene between Data and Geordi. Also, Wesley has an ugly sweater. And
I would just like to let everyone know, too, that Jill has been putting this in the chat. You guys are probably watching this, but if you're podcasting at home and you're not watching this as a show and you're listening, Jill filed in 7 million Fs. She's like, my grade is missing. F. So
okay. I didn't
definitely
see that.
An F.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're now. Okay, because I didn't. Yeah, I got you. Jill. Favorite quote: could this be Human Joke 363? Data, this episode is a bad joke. Absolutely it is, Jill. You were so right.
Love you, Jill.
Let's see. Crazy Pineapple. D, cringy by 80 standards. Yep. SAW talking points for today. Yeah, that's a good point. Yes. I hear you. Steve Betcham. No one's going to mention Raquel's I don't give an F statement. You just did, bud.
So bad.
F, big fat 0 from Ted Millers. Yeah. Thank you. JT Kirk.
Oh,
rating.
Great. Omega, which Omega. And so that's the last letter in the Greek alphabet, but everybody at home, just so you know, it also means the end. The absolute
There you
end.
go. We wish
So this is
it didn't seem like this episode ever ended, but
yeah.
the lazy as hell soundstage, the stupid clinky sticks, oh god, and much more are just not up to 1980s TV standards.
No.
The spiky orb gloves are not practical weapons, especially since they got poison on them. The Spock's brain of TNG, yes. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Like no point, right, JT Kirk? Like no point to it at all. And imagine being that Mayberry dude and being fired on the spot by Gene Roddenberry and then ruining such an illustrious, what appears to be an otherwise illustrious career. And imagine the shame being walked off the set as Roddenberry says, "Get out of here." Crazy.
Brilliant, masterful, genius, high art. These are adjectives. Now, about this episode, please just look who's here. The Grace Monica D with a C.
Honey, I've been reading off. I was about to actually read off yours right now.
You can still go ahead and do his now, because I know this is his favorite episode. Everyone, just want to I'm going to spoil everyone. Mark D with a C thinks this is a great episode. It's his favorite, and he loves it so much. He wishes he's going to burn every other episode that he owns and just keep that one.
Okay, so this is an Esh pick. Are you ready, folks?
Oh,
Code of honor. They let Yar be held prisoner for a day without doing anything, ? Picard allows Yar to fight to the death instead of coming up with another solution, ? Thought it was strange that Picard criticized the planet's customs. He must have seen much worse. Oh, that's the wrong scene. Bad homophone there, Mark. Worse in his travels. Picard is disparaging women to negotiate. Yeah, that was really bad when he's like, yes, so I see you do know the truth or use of women.
Women, right?
Now Wesley can sit at ops. I know, right? Maybe paying extra for a front row seat to this fight wasn't a good idea. And his final grade, C. I don't think this episode deserves the hatred that it gets, but it's pale imitation. It's a pale imitation of Amok Time, and certainly no pun intended there, Mark. My goodness, teacher's gonna smack you around after class. A boring episode with a terrible fight scene. At least we get some good moments with Data. So that is Mark's grade. Mark, we're going to have to talk about your...
Oh, you're in trouble. You're getting... Young man, you're going to be held after class now.
That's it. Detention.
The grammar police. There's that siren going. Woo. Pull over to the side of the road and show me your grammar license.
Yes.
With your hands up.
Insurance and registration, please.
Just a Jew, jobber. F as in F this show. F this episode anyway. You don't have to be woke to be embarrassed by this trek. I think the society follows robot jocks where they don't care about hundreds of spectators dying during their fights. That scene was so stupid. Like, Jesus, this guy just kill him, screw it. It doesn't matter. He's not getting paid. He doesn't have any lines. What else? Whatever.
Yeah. So they don't even value life. That's the thing that bothers me. To allow a spectator to die, they've made no, a blood oath or they're not beholden to what's happening in the arena. Why would they allow a spectator to die? It's absurd, and it makes you not even appreciate them at all because they place no value on life.
Oh, not at all. They sure don't. Wow, I gave it a C?
Yeah.
Dude, man. I don't know what does it take to get an F out of Mark D? Now I want to know. I don't think it can't be possible.
I don't know. Maybe Zathras is commenting on that particular grade by saying someone's been smoking something great.
maybe it'll have to be Voyager that does it to him. Because I can't imagine. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Just messing with you, dude. We're glad to see you here, by the way. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we have any more before we move on.
D. Bud Martin
I would rather change all the spectators into Wesley.
Would you rather watch this season 10 more times or a row, or watch the Filth this week? It's not Trek, it's Filth. Oh, yeah, I'd watch it 10 times in a row and watch, because, Filth is worse. But
I would pull a D. Bud Martin on that one, and I just wouldn't watch either.
yeah, he's got the right idea.
So everybody knows, like, I rewatch all of Star Trek from beginning to end every year. I want you to know that most of the time I'm having a bath during this episode or I'm cooking supper. I just totally try to ignore this episode.
Oh, God, I can't blame you. Let's see. I think we got, everybody, let me just make sure, everyone, then we'll move on to our final episode of the evening. Let's see. Bop, bop, bop. Oh! Was it missing, Wolfie? I'm sorry. I may have missed it. My review was missing. Yawn. When do we get to Arsenal of Freedom? They need to read the damn Bible. Number one, beam down a metric ton of poopy diapers. I hope I didn't miss yours, Wolfie. You can throw me but I appreciate that. I've looked and didn't see it, but you know me, you know how I miss stuff, and sometimes it's not there.
We'll get it.
I forgot. Great. C for crap.
Yeah, Daryl, that is totally true.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. I'm a nice guy. Lord Thoth needs to work on you. Oh boy, yes indeed, Jill. Okay, I hear you there. Thank you, Wolfie. I think I'm caught up now. Oh, Apollo, thank you so much, my dear. I'm just honored and flattered by that. Thank you so much. You are the sweetest. Thank you. I appreciate you there. Let's see. I got you, Wolfie. Oh, there you go. Deep for dumb.
It is a word.
Yeah. Well, are we ready?
Sorry, I introduced you to that word, Steve. Steven.
Are we ready for our final episode of the evening?
We are. Okay, so everyone, you should know that this book does go in production order. It does not go in broadcast order. But since we released the Kraken, and you all watched in broadcast order, we're going to do, instead of doing Haven, which should be the next episode in prod order, these books are done by, they reflect on the way that the show was created, so they do it in production order, but we're not going to do that tonight.
And that's my fault, everyone. I just didn't even think about the production order with this show, so...
Yeah, well, it's just the way the books work, and I think it's like a feather in the cap to Block and Erdman, because they do make sure that they go behind the scenes and get as much information that can be verified. That's not just like previous actors complaining about something, or something repeated in lore that's been heard at the cons, or something written online. So I think it sort of adds another level of formality to it to do it in production order as well. But that's okay. Let's do The Last Outpost. My title on my notes: The Last Outpost, also known as The Arena, Season 1, Episode 5. Original air date October 19th, 1987. And if you're following along, we are going to use a prompt from the text. I will be reading from the text, Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman, with an introduction, a christening by the great Ronald D. Moore. We are on page 35. We've had to jump forward to get to The Last Outpost. The Enterprise becomes the first Federation ship on record to have a face-to-face encounter with the mysterious Ferengi after members of the mercenary species steal an energy converter from a Federation outpost. When both the Enterprise and the Ferengi vessel lose power above a planet that once belonged to the extinct Takan Empire, the two sides call a tentative truce so that the teams from both ships can join forces to investigate the abandoned outpost below. But since the Ferengi don't share the Federation's value system, is it any surprise that they double-cross Commander William Riker's away team soon after beaming down? Although Klingons and Romulans are prominent in Star Trek The Next Generation, Gene Roddenberry did not want to use them as the primary villains in the new show. He charged co-producer Herbert Wright with creating a brand new species to plague the crew of the Enterprise on a reoccurring basis. Wright recalled that the inspiration for the rift between the Federation and the Klingon Empire in TOS was the Cold War era hostility between the United States and the USSR, and he searched for a contemporary 1980s equivalent. Although the film Wall Street, with its pervasive greed is good sentiment, would not be released until the end of 1987, there already was a palpable feeling that the nation's financial sector was full of amoral barbarians. This, Wright decided, was the straw horse he was looking for, a species of ruthless robber barons whose entire society was built on the principle that profit is the most important thing in the galaxy. Wright especially liked the sharp contrast between this new species, dubbed the Ferengi, and the enlightened men and women of the Enterprise D, who had no desire for money, although they still use money, otherwise they wouldn't ask for money. When Roddenberry's blessing, with Roddenberry's blessing, the development of the Ferengi got underway. A great deal of time and energy went into the appearance of the Ferengi, far more, in fact, than had gone into the look of the original Klingons. Ferengi would be short in stature, and their faces, by our standards, would seem grotesque. Andrew Probert created a series of impressive concept designs, later modified by makeup supervisor Michael Westmore, who I love, with huge ears. The better to hear the potential profit in the wind, and piranha-like teeth. They looked suitably aggressive, as did their sharp-edged marauder ships. Another design by Probert, inspired by the shape of a horseshoe crab. We know that would tickle Gene Roddenberry pink because he loves this crab idea and he's never been able to do it. Anyhow, I digress. Unfortunately, when the species was made its way on camera in the last Outpost, the general reaction was disappointment. The Ferengi were no Klingons. What did them in? For one thing, their costuming, a cave-like fur sarong worn atop what appeared to be loose gray pajamas, resembled something left over from the oft-criticized third season of the original series, which is the corporate season. I'm adding that, sorry. An ill-conceived decision to have them jump up and down like crazed gerbils, as per Armin Shimmerman, who played one of the episode's 3 Ferengi, did not jibe with their reputation as dangerous, crafty aggressors, or cannibals, I may add. And the prospect of Picard regularly squaring off against arrays of cutthroat capitalists was a non-starter with the audience. The most negative elements would be modified in future episodes, and solid character development of the species in the sister show, Deep Space Nine, would actually win fans, but the damage was done. Here, the Ferengi would not be the key bad guys in TNG. That role ultimately would be played by the Borg. And wow, you should see the wonderful drawings here on page 37 of the block text of the way that they developed the look of the Ferengi. Just sensational. And that's all the coverage on this episode, boss.
Hey, a disaster area. Good to see you. Always a pleasure, my friend. Yeah, there you go. I don't like this one much. I mean, it's not code of honor, but Jesus, this is some cringy crap here for me.
Totally.
The way the Ferengi, look, it's early on, okay? I understand that. Absolutely. You got to cut them some slack later. Because look, the Ferengi were, again, they were there done for an agenda so they could just talk about greedy people. Whatever. I mean, Trek does that with analogies. That's fine and all. But you should at least make them somewhat credible and not annoying. I mean, by the way they look's fine. I mean, you want to make them look alien, that's great. And then, they want to make them look short. They're short. I guess Ferengi are short. All that's fine and good. They're another completely alien species. that we don't know anything about. So that means, of course, obviously they kind of messed with that a little bit with Enterprise, didn't they? But message people, like they used to do this on MSC3K all the time when they would watch something and a ham-fisted, clumsy message was coming through and whatever they were watching, they would all go, message people, message alert, message everyone, message. Okay, we get it. Greed's bad. Yeah, we get it. We get it. You hate capitalism, even though you're making money on it. Whatever. But it's just, you have to be so freaking cringy about it. And so, they look fine. The ship looks fine. Their characterization is, look, it took Quark for me to like a Ferengi.
Well, Latek didn't do it for you?
No, and I'm sure it was in this episode, of course, but I never, even in the episode The Battle, which comes up later, which is Ferengi, I thought that they were at least a little better in that one. But in this one, they are just, their characterization is stupid. Again, this stuff about the Stakhan Empire. There's nothing good about this story. It's dopey. No. It's not outrageously terrible. It's just kind of cringy and stupid. It makes no sense. I don't like. They're beyond. Look, if there's ever an episode where Will Wheaton should be thankful there's something more annoying than him in it, he should be. This is it, because the Ferengi are really annoying in this episode. I'm like, what? At some point, I think he should have just let Worf slice him to pieces with his bat lift.
I feel sorry for Herbert Wright, because I think he really tried to deliver here on something that that would excite everyone and excite Gene Roddenberry. And I think he was really looking forward to taking advantage of everything that is Michael Westmore, because as many folks know, I cosplay. I'm a licensed makeup artist. I did that when I was young. I was thinking about doing that when I was young, going into Hollywood makeup to do effects makeup and so on and so forth. And it's not something I pursued, but of course it's now a hobby. We had all of the raw material here to make something great, but it's just, I'm sorry. I think the stature thing, it's too deeply entrenched in folklore and in orality, in the tales that we have told as human beings, for us to see the Ferengi as anything other than these little trolls or these little garden gnomes or these evil little pixies that live in the forest that will come out and bite your ankles or it's just too. It's too deeply entrenched in our society, this idea of what they fleshed out here, and it's quite unfortunate. I mean, a way to make the Ferengi really scary, definitely the gerbil jumping and jumping around like chimpanzees on crack cocaine, that did not help.
Wow.
Maybe if the universal translator could not have wasn't able to translate their language, and they were very tall and very thin and had blood coming from their teeth, and they followed through with this idea of them eating other humanoids. That might have worked, and we could have had something really, really super scary here. But I do feel sorry for Herbert White, or Wright, however you want to pronounce it. People pronounce it different in Canada both ways. But I feel terrible for him, because you should see the renderings, the drawings that he's come up with, and the work that Michael Westmore put into these characters. And they're not good villains. They're not good villains. These are garden gnomes, and they're hysterical.
Yeah. And not to be spoiler or anything, but the episode The Battle, they are handled much better, and I actually thought that was an okay story, which we'll get to in a couple of weeks, I guess. But by that time, I don't know, maybe someone decided, maybe that went on. Maybe they talked in the back and said, look, they were annoying. There were nothing credible about these characters. They're really stupid. Let's actually give them a little bit of depth. And that episode, I thought, did that. So later they did, but really, I always found them really annoying. It took Quark to make me actually and many episodes, of course, with the Ferengi in that episode, in episodes of DS9, to make me not just hate, not only in the bad way, but just like not be annoyed by Ferengi every time I see them, because he's a really good character, and they actually wrote them as actual sentient beings and not just annoying little, like you said, trolls.
Yeah, they totally look like garden gnomes to me. And what not a lot of people realize is the initial offerings for the Ferengi. They were just so they had gigantic human ears. They scaling. They look like they're about 4 feet tall, and they had none of that forehead or any of that stuff. So it's just literally like a bald little garden gnome. And you just want to put like a little pointy hat on him and stick him beside a mushroom in your garden so that he can guard your peonies from the fairies that will steal the dust from them. It's just I feel bad for Herbert Wright, or White, however he wants to pronounce it. I feel so bad for him because he really tried, and it's a stinker. It's a for me.
Notes.
Yes, my notes. I'm sorry, boss.
No, go for it.
Ferengi cannibal Yankee traders. Wow, fail in all caps on that one. Picard is a horrible leader, overly and unnecessarily mean to Data all the time. It's annoying. Why does Riker yell from side stage, "Give him everything we got, Geordi"? Absolutely no reason for him to yell other than poor direction and poor production. They made it seem as though Riker was like a mile away from Geordi, and he yells for no reason. And we know it's because he's not on stage. He's side stage. So bad. Yar is always annoying and cannot regulate her impulses or emotions. There's no way this person would actually be in Starfleet. Most annoying character next to Wesley for me. Yeah. Why would a finger puzzle elude Data? Oh. Also removes all of his finger makeup, which I spoke about the next day with my Trekkie friends. We talked about what a dumb scene that was. I love the pool noodle weapons. That's what I call the Ferengi energy whips. I call them the pool noodle weapons. And Riker sending finger puzzles to the Ferengi vessel is directly ripped off from Trouble with Tribbles when Scotty sends Tribbles to the Klingon vessel, which earns RAQUEL. Those are my notes, boss. Not much to say here other than huge disappointment.
It's just an empty, other than the annoying, I think the most notable stuff about the episode is the annoying crap, which is a shame. Yes. And, nothing against the gentleman who plays the Chakon Empire guy, but by that point, you're so annoyed, you just want the thing to end. And like, okay, we now know that the two ships are trapped. We know everyone's freezing to death on the Enterprise. We know that they've gone to the planet with the Ferengi who are being annoying and trying, and then this guy pops up with these spies, this techno. Fine, whatever. Just go ahead and kill us all, would you, God? Dude, just kill us. The annoying is we give up on life because if the Ferengi are that annoying, we don't want to explore space anymore. So go ahead and kill us. He goes, no, you guys suck. Too bad for me to kill you. Oh, wait, you're quoting Sun Tzu? Oh, well, I'll let you go then. And with a warning, want me to kill these guys? And then Riker, unless he should have said, yes, I want you to kill the Ferengi, all of them on every planet ever. Please, kill them.
Eradicate the species. They're not required. That, or or freeze them in the magic spray snow from Christmas. And ship them out to people as garden gnomes. I know lots of people who need to have little garden gnomes to guard their flowers.
Good point, Mark D. With the C. Where is the chief engineer in this episode? They decided they didn't want one anymore. They had one in 2 episodes ago in the stupid Naked Now. And now, after that, they don't have one.
McDougal, who should have had... Yeah, she should have had Yar's job because she was like, not only is she gorgeous, like she is hot stuff. You should see pictures of her with her hair down.
I've seen her in other stuff. I like her, yeah.
Yeah, and plus she also had like she had a commanding authority to her where she was just believable. Anyways, totally believable.
Yes. So Riker makes the worst command decision in Starfleet history by not telling the Takan Empire to kill the little annoying little turds. I'm kidding. I'm just saying.
Ship them out through Amazon as garden gnomes.
And man, they had Armin Shimmerman and the great Tracy Walter was one of the
did.
actor.
Tracy Walter was one of the garden gnomes.
Yeah, he was. You can't see him through the makeup, but I mean, yeah. So, and he's a great actor, but. So yeah, the episode is really, other than the annoyance of the Ferengi, them going all this was about was introducing the Ferengi, the Takan Empire stuff with the old dude and the Sun Tzu quotes and all that stuff was just kind of bland and boring, and I just didn't care. I'm watching it going, good God, and this is kind of my reaction in 1987. I was watching and going, wow, that's what you. And again, I was very concerned at that time. Now we have the entirety of the show to think about. I was like, when I saw that, going, so that's going to be your kind of big threat on this show, the Ferengi.
Yeah,
these little creatures, like they're just. I mean, what are they going to do? Annoy everybody in the universe to make them kill themselves or something?
Well, in '87, I was like, we were approaching Halloween. And so I was wondering at this point if we were going to get sort of like a Halloween-y episode where they were going to eat people, because of course, like we know the Ferengi are cannibals at this point. So now we finally get to see them. And so now we're thinking, okay, they're cannibals and something's going to happen before Halloween. And instead, all we got was a worse version of the arena. And I'm going to say it again. Gene wrote the Bible for this show, and they completely ignored the Bible of this show. There is a direct paragraph about doing this. He said, no, just read the Bible, people. Just read the Bible.
Read the Bible.
And if you would like to read the Bible, I would like you to know right now that I do have a copy. I do have the TOS Bible. And I have the TNG Bible, and I have it in PDF form. If you are interested in a copy of that, please let me know. It'll be my pleasure to send it off to you. You can get a hold of me on Twitter.
Was Wesley not in this one, disaster area? Wasn't he in it? No, it wasn't. That's right. He was in his quarters.
No, he was in it. He was one of those pool noodles.
Oh, okay. There you go. By the way, Wesley sucks.
Yeah.
So, number one, I'll ask for your rating of The Last Outpost. I will give mine, then I will ask our illustrious chat.
Okay. This is a C- for me, boss.
Gotcha. I'm going with a D.
Okay.
For dull. Dumb. So, chat, go for it. Your rating and any comments you may have on The Last
Let her rip, chat.
Outpost. Yeah, they're slightly smarter than the backledge. Yeah. Someone slap a retro Wesley. I think we have our first one of the evening.
Dun, dun, dun,
dun. Let's see here. Stephen Thompson says, D, prototype Ferengi Armin Shemmerman. Well, they had to start somewhere. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I do cut them some slack for it. They didn't know what they were doing. Riker response, fear is the true enemy, the only enemy. Lady Briggs, it's raspberry time.
I love you, Stephen. That one's for you.
Raymond, F, move along, nothing to see here. That's a review there for you.
Love you, Raymond.
JT Kirk, two slips of latinum.
It's not even gold press latinum. That's not
not even gold press. Out of 5. These Ferengi had no lobes for business. That's for sure. Get them a copy of the rules of acquisition.
Yeah.
Stat. And possibly fix this episode by interacting with Ferengi hundreds of years earlier. It was, kind of did contradict some things, I guess. I don't know why I didn't know about them, but at least those Ferengi were played all by good actors. Well, they were good actors in this one, but I mean, they weren't annoying. They were good characters.
Yes.
Jeffrey Combs, for the great Jeffrey Combs, and
yes,
even your Neelix, Ethan Phillips, whatever. But so
boy. So bad.
Yes. So I hear you there, but I mean, Armin Shimmerman and Tracy Walter are great, but they were given horrible. At least in that Enterprise episode, those
yes
Ferengi were well written.
Yeah. Crack
Crazy Pineapple.
gerbils. They're
Oh,
either garden
so
gnomes
bad.
or crack gerbils.
They're
There's
so
really
bad.
no in between. Those are the two nicknames for them, and they're the only thing that fits.
Yeah. Crazy Pineapple D. If it weren't for DS9, the Ferengi would have been forever laughed at as inept Keystone
Yep.
capitalist.
Yep.
That's yeah. I mean, that's pretty much. What a treat.
Jill.
C minus for Jill. I think it's a minus. The only good thing the Ferengi said was at the end when Armin's Ferengi says, "We want to be friends." Other than that, they're portrayed as barbaric and deceitful, one-dimensional until DS9.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to talk about them when we get to the battle because I think in the battle they were actually not as bad.
Mhm. We'll get to that.
They really given.
Wolfie says, "Where's Brunt when you need him?" Yeah, exactly.
I
right,
really
Wolfie?
dislike the Ferengi goblins. D minus for in.
Yeah.
Oh, number 2 for Jill. Yeah. One positive thing is how the crew worked together to try to solve matters peacefully, but where? Oh, there we go. But, ouch. Oh man, I'm stinging. Sorry,
You
leg
okay,
injury.
honey? What happened?
Oh, I don't have a weird leg injury. Sorry. Let's see here. 3-3. This is a poorly done TOS trope where a large power tests the barbarity of the that's for sure Enterprise and some other alien species is done in arena. TNG gets better when it stops trying to copy TOS. That's a good point. I mean, they just did it a few episodes back with Encounter at Farpoint, and they're doing it again with some powerful being,
follow the
testing
Bible.
them and crap. Jesus,
read the Bible. Follow the Bible. Just listen to Gene Roddenberry.
Indeedishness. Okay, C minus. Why did Riker not just tell the Guardian to look at the stars for what age? Yeah, that was a good point. The age of this and that. Because no one thought about anything. Why did the Guardian not know this by reading the computer information? I liked the Guardian. The actor was good.
All good points. All good points.
Indeedishness. The great K.
Excellent. Excellent, Eric.
Picard surrenders again. The Ferengi. Yes. We used to call him back then when we were really complaining about the show a lot back then. We used to call him Captain Conference and and Captain Surrender as well.
He was so hard to adjust to. Like I'm not good at switching captains, and he was so hard to adjust to. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, I mean, look, Kirk didn't call conferences when in the middle of a crisis, and that was what really used to drive us crazy. Picard did it all the time. A conference is all fine and good when you're not under red alert,
right?
But he called a damn conference like you're a captain, dude. Again, writing. It's the writing. But yes, Picard surrenders again. The Ferengi, as shown in this episode, are silly and unthreatening, which is probably why they were all but dropped as the new series recurring villains. That's a good point, Storm. I was like, I see them and go, "This is what you're giving us." I get that you want to have not do too much with Klingons because they're they're friends with them, they're allies and stuff now. But that's what you're doing. That was a mistake. Let's see here. Wolfie, 762, 1 of 2, grade C minus. At least we get a little more Trek going on here. Armin Shimmerman, yeah. As a Ferengi, what is that? What is an energy whip? I don't know. Why have we never heard of this species before? Well, I mean, making a new species is not a big deal, I guess. But yeah, I mean, they should have just acted like they encountered them a couple of times or what. I don't know. Why don't they just go ahead and say, yeah, we know who they are and they don't like us. With the first ship to meet him and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, Wolfie. Let's replace the Ferengi with Romulans as the Soviet threat and get with it. Ear fetishes, beetle snuff, and poopy diapers.
Ow, 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 ow! Good one.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Ferengi are cannibals. Why was probably a Ferengi who thought it was a great lie to put out more gold percent, I guess. I think they just rethought it. Or maybe Kurt, they should have just had it where like Picard was just saying that to mess with Zorn. But
oh my goodness, Scuba Pete is so disappointed. I've never heard Scuba Pete this disappointed before. This is catastrophic. Wait until you hear this, you guys. Okay, Clobby, read this.
G, nope. just can't. D, of course.
That's it. No pun.
Wow, that's all? Man,
That's
you
it.
were really distraught.
He's totally doing my
Scuba
poor
Pete.
Scuba Pete. What have
Hope
they
you're
done to my
okay, man.
Scuba Pete?
C- for D-Bud Martin. Weak episode, but would have been an A+ if they fed Wesley to the Ferengi. Yeah, they should have
for
traded him.
the Halloween episode, D. Bud Martin. Just feed Wesley to the Ferengi.
You got it, pal. Because Wesley sucks. D for dumb says the great Phantom Outsider. So neither the Federation or Ferengi tried to make a deal with the portal for the Empire's obvious advanced tech. Ferengi were hyperactive chihuahuas. Yes.
Yeah.
Martin with a C. Go ahead.
No, just and even then, like whenever I see him on, I'm thinking of the Guardian of Forever, and it's like this would be the materialized voice of the Guardian Forever. It's just I'm just totally annoyed by the whole thing, and I need to stop talking. I'm sorry, boss.
No. It's fine. That's what you're here for. And it was annoying. I mean, it's just I guess I lost all will to live by the time we by the time we got down to the planet. Anyway, it was like,
oh, Wolfie just.
Bill,
that's so good. Moogie.
Oh God! Oh Lord! That always aggravated me. The way Rom said that.
Yeah.
Dude. Martin with a C. B-. The Ferengi are interesting at first, but their introduction goes downhill once we meet them on the planet.
Yeah,
because they didn't really show them that much at first. 2 of 2. Unique problem to solve, and Riker shows he is capable, but. The last act wraps up too quickly. Would have liked to learn more about the Guardian. Yeah.
The Guardian of Forever in corporeal form. Yes,
but if you were going to have that Guardian stuff with the Takan Empire, just do it without Ferengi. D+. Well, it was better than the last 2 eps. I'm done. Jobber. Just Joe.
Disaster area.
Oh man, I'm not there yet. I'm a ways away from you.
Some of these, you guys, I can't help myself. They're just so good.
I can't believe you don't like electro whips. Those are awesome weapons, says Crucible. Let's see.
I liked it when one of them pulled a stiffy that it couldn't close. That was the best. That was like if you don't burst out laughing when the pool noodle has a stiffy in front of the Guardian, it's just great. Classic.
See, because I love the Ferengi, says Crucible the Cross Supercat, and the electro whip, but not super threatening in this episode, not at all.
Oh no, Liger fan, you're taking your tots and going home. You'll be missed. Thank you for coming
Liger
tonight.
Fan. Take care, buddy.
Hope to see you next week.
Always great to see you, Liger Fan. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see here. Try to make sure we got them all. We want to get everybody's review. Bop, 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 bop.
Yeah, Mark D with the C. He swears, but the thing is that Americans know so little about French that they figured they could get it by the network, and they actually speak about that in several books about Star Trek. Yeah, so it's hilarious to Canadians because, of course, everybody's like, "Oh, they said what on TV?" But the American networks they didn't even clue in.
Disaster area D. Ferengi make me miss Wesley. That's bad, buddy.
That's the one I was laughing.
That's pretty bad
earlier.
There. And
so funny.
You got to quote Sort of Pooper says, "Shut up, Wesley." Let's see. That was kind of funny when Picard said mailed.
Yeah.
When I think we got them all. Let me just make sure, everyone. Okay, did we get everyone's reviews? Yeah, we're up there. All right, I think we got them all. If we missed anyone, I'm sorry, but we did. We did what we could there. Well, my good friends, we survived the first 4 out of the gate. I can't lie to you and tell you it's going to be any easier for a while. It's going to be a rough patch. We
yeah,
can do
but
this.
it will get better. It's gonna get better.
We can do this. Look, there's one here and there in the first or even second season that I think are okay, that I don't hate or anything. Not a lot, granted, but there are a couple I think are kind of all right. Sort of, maybe, kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit, kind of, sort of.
Scuba Pete just yelled with lots of
We made it.
exclamation points. We made it, guys. We
We
made
survived
it.
4 episodes. When you look back, it's extraordinary that show went 7 years with that first season, and even there was some good stuff in that weird second season, which was during the writer's strike. But it is pretty remarkable. But that's because it was syndicated. If this had been on network TV, it'd have been dead.
Yeah. Would have died
Not
the
a
death
shot.
of a rag doll.
Yeah, not a shot. Yeah, Captain America says do better. Exactly. So, wow, everyone! I tell you what, I cannot thank you all enough for being here with us tonight. Had a blast, as I always do with you. You're always fantastic.
I love
And
you.
by the way, everyone, Wesley still sucks. Just wanted to make sure. Look, we need to be clear about this, folks. Wesley sucks. I just want to, because you cannot. I mean, you can't really say it enough that Wesley sucks.
Kal-El says 48 says someone bring Romulan ale next week.
Yes. Jill says. Let's see.
Oh.
What does it say? Well, Jill, we love having you here. You are absolutely, you're all fantastic, and you are wonderful, Jill. We really appreciate
Beautiful person.
your participation. You're fantastic.
You're so smart, and you are such a knowledgeable Trekkie, and you're just also a great person to be around. You're such good company, and I know, that's not just Clobby and I saying that. It's also everyone in the chat. You're a great company, and we're so happy that you became a part of this community. Just love you, Jill. Mwah. Thank you. Oh, and shut up, Wesley. Clobby?
What happened?
You're here, honey?
What happened? You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What happened?
I don't know. I couldn't hear you before.
Oh, I must have hit a. Well, by the way, Wesley sucks. Oh, sorry. I think next week, folks, here's what we're going to do. Instead of reviewing episodes, we're going to come on and we're going to say the words Wesley sucks for 3 hours.
Well, then we are definitely going to have to bring Romulan ale.
Here's a short preview. Tonight on CLOBBERIN Times Saturday Night Star Trek, Wesley sucks. Hi, everyone. Wesley sucks. Wesley sucks. Oh, hello. Wesley sucks. No, hello's not. Doesn't count. Wesley sucks. Wesley sucks. Wesley sucks. 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 Wesley sucks. 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 Wesley sucks. Wesley sucks. 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 Wesley sucks. Oh, and Wesley said that. Thank you, everyone. That is a sneak preview of next week's show. Oh my God! What a shame. And by the way, if you're a Wesley fan, we love you. We just don't love him. And to be honest, look, I'm gonna be honest. That was a kid, so we're picking on him. But the fact is, it's he sucks. Sorry, I was about to defend him, but I couldn't.
Jill's gonna have a Ractagino instead of an alcoholic
Oh,
drink.
there you go.
That's okay, Jill.
Ractagino.
Lots of our viewers are abstainers.
Yes, yeah. As a matter of fact, disaster area. As Raquel's been talking about the series Bible. Well, I would just opened up the series Bible for season 1, and every word is all of it says is Wesley sucks. Wesley sucks. Wesley sucks. It's the whole Bible. I just was surprised. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh,
so
my
funny.
God. That's not true. Actually, there was a page that did say "Shut up, Wesley."
Eric says
Is the best
Wesley is the bestest ever. What do you mean?
Oh my goodness! Quick show note before we get out of here, my folks, my buddies. Again, Iconicon was fantastic. I am so honored to have been a part of that wonderful group, and they're still got them going on tomorrow. In the description below, in my description below, you can find the list of the videos they've already done and what's coming up tomorrow. Any of you fans of The Last Starfighter, they got the couple of people from that movie. Remember that film? So, and of course, they got a lot of other great stuff if you're a big fan of the 80s. And I want to thank my wonderful Retro Blasting friends for allowing me to join them and help them out. Oh, yeah. You saw that? The Bionic 6 video. He's getting all this hate for it, of course, because what a great job Michael did on that Bionic 6 video. It is his cartoon views. Even if you've never seen the cartoon, it is true entertainment, and it's like a 30-something minute video. And it's just part one. It's hilarious because he does. You think we're brutal here tonight, folks? Go watch a Michael French Retro Blasting cartoon review, especially of the Bionic 6. And it's hilarious. I never watched that cartoon, but now I don't want to watch it. I just want to watch his videos of it. So great stuff.
JT Kirk is helping you to pen the 10 commandments of your Bible.
Okay, let's say
he says, "Thou shalt not, Wesley."
Oh,
so good, JT Kirk. I love this family.
Yeah.
You guys aren't even a community.
Yeah,
you guys
great.
are like family to me. I love you guys so much. I just look forward to this all week long. I love you guys. You guys are hysterical.
You know what? Wesley's just a fictional character, everyone. I may switch that to Will Wheaton sucks. Will Wheaton sucks. Will Wheaton sucks. Because he really does. Wesley's at least a child. What's Will Wheaton's excuse?
Yeah.
But anyway, so everyone, Monday night, I'm just going to have the wonderful, beautiful Purple Valkyrie on with me just to do a basic open comic book talk.
Nice.
Because I love her and she loves to talk comics and stuff, and we'll just kind of free flowing fun. And everyone, August the 8th, long way away, I know, we're a month away, but we will celebrate. Clobbering Times is responsible for everything real Fantastic Four, because Marvel Comics knows nothing about it and doesn't care about it. So we will celebrate the 60th anniversary to the day of Fantastic Four #1. So I cannot wait for that. And that's going to be on a Sunday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I will gather my global geeks to celebrate it. And we may have some special surprise guests. Who knows? So we're going to go real quick here and say our goodbyes to our wonderful friends in the chat, because you all deserve the shout outs, because you're fantastic. We love you. Firstly, we're going to say, even if you had to leave, you get the shout out, even if those are not here.
That's right.
The wonderful Janet from Another Planet, whose birthday is tomorrow. She had to leave, but we love you, Janet, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday, beautiful.
Absolutely. Our good buddy Steve Mitchum also had to leave, Maddie's daddy, who said Maddie's crawling now, by the way.
What?
He said that earlier in the chat.
We have to listen. We have to organize a CLOBBERIN, you guys. We have to really decide whether or not we can do it this year or we do it very early in the new year. But we got to do a CLOBBERIN. I got to meet Maddie. We got to do this. Anyway, go ahead, boss.
I'm not invited, she said, though. Oren Raymond Feliciano, give our love to Sandra.
Yes.
Buddy. And I expect you to be there for the Fantastic Four celebration, or you are in trouble, young man. I know he'll be there. Snortapoopas Cuber.
Snortapoopas!
Cuber. No relation to Raymond Burr, everyone. He had to leave, but the great Lord Thoth.
LT. Long live
Avon
the Legion.
lives, and long live the Legion, bro. And he may have had to go. I don't know if he's still here, but a big shout out to the great Canadian Spider-Man who does whatever a Canadian Spider
Love
can.
you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
My good buddy and fellow co-conspirator and the comic shop owner cabal, the great D-Bud Martin.
Yeah, love
Always
your
a
company.
pleasure, buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming and supporting
Thanks.
the channel and the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here, buddy. I don't know if she's still here, but the beautiful, lovely Arwen Avalon, thank you so much, my dear, for popping in. We love having you popping in there.
Yeah, good to see you.
I think you may have had to run, but the great J-Man, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Liger fan, I believe, had to run. Liger fan, hail.
Good to see you.
I don't know if he's still here, but the great Chris Persia, shout out, my good friend.
I love Chris
Oh,
Persia.
thanks, Eric. I know I forgot something. Sorry. There, of course, is the link, everyone, to the works, the literary works of Mr. Raymond Feliciano.
Yeah.
Crucible, the crazed. Not crazed anymore, though.
No.
Thank you, bud, for being here. Appreciate it.
Nice to see you.
Your Muslim uncle popped in earlier.
Yeah.
Your Muslim uncle and my Muslim uncle. Good to see you, my friend. We
Yep.
appreciate you, bud. The great Eric K, buddy.
Yay! Love you.
Always appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for being here, bud. Kalel 48, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you hanging out with us and your participation. You're a great one. We really appreciate
Excellent
it.
comments tonight.
As always. Our good buddy Ash Singh had to run, but shout out to Ash. We love Ash. Zathras. I think Zathras had to run to find his other Zathras self, but we love Zathras.
Lots of funny comments from him tonight. He was terrific.
And the great Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete! I love you.
Yes, indeed. Scuba
You were
Pete, man.
You were hysterical tonight. I
Always,
love you.
brother.
I love you to bits and pieces. You know that.
We appreciate you, Scuba. Wolfie 762, we really appreciate you as well.
Love you, Wolfie.
The great JT Kirk, buddy. Yay. Thank you for being here.
Great comments tonight. It made me laugh, like roar with laughter.
Our wonderful friend, Anti-Derivative Jill. Thank you for being here tonight, Jill.
You really are a rock star, girl. We love you.
I recognize that song, Stephen Thompson. Clubby, clubby, clubby. Get your clubby here. That's a Schoolhouse Rock thing. I think. Are you Schoolhouse Rocking on me? You can let me know. Just
a lot of Schoolhouse Rock around here.
As a jobber. Yes, I love Schoolhouse Rock. Wait, good to see you, buddy. Thank you, jobber. And now I can say I'll never watch. Yes, Jill, you were relieved of your responsibility to ever watch Code of Honor again.
You don't have to do it ever again. We promise. Except, yes, if we do anything at CLOBBERIN, like if we do like any type of like hyper watch or anything like that, I promise we'll just skip right over that.
Yes, and we owe you big time for that one, Jill.
Thank you for enduring with us. What did Scuba Pete say earlier?
What
was his comment? He was like, "We survived. We did it.
Yes, we did it. We survived. Success. We've done it.
Yeah.
The great Rod Thunderheart was here earlier.
Yeah,
Rod, appreciate you, brother. The wonderful, lovely Katie Carr. We love you, Katie. Yeah. The great Phantom Outsider, buddy. Great name. Always a pleasure, my friend. I hope you're still there. Thanks for hanging out with us, buddy. And again, Stephen, the aforementioned Stephen Thompson.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Stephen.
Steves I know. These are the Steves I know.
Well, you got two more Steves coming in. Jesus is my king is 68. Jesus is my king. Also a Steve. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
Stephen Ernest. We thank you for being here.
Yes, Stephen Ernest popped in. I saw that.
And my good old buddy Dave Bob. He's probably too late now, but I mean, he did pop in. Dave Bob, good to see you, brother.
Thank you for supporting the show, thank you for stopping by.
Captain 300 subs Spot popped in. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you.
He always has the interesting name. He'll have a new one soon.
Toxic Man Flu's like that as well.
Yeah, I love that. The great Keely Chow, roll tide, buddy.
Thank you for your support.
As always, man. Games, movies, and comics are us. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you. Yeah. I think Ted Millage. Ted Millage is a new friend. Ted Millage, thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate you popping in the other day at our stream.
And thank you for your reviews. Like, you just jumped right into the fray and had excellent comments. And I appreciated that so much. I hope we'll hear from you again. And I hope you'll join us next week. We have a great community here, and I would love for you to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. I always love seeing you here. Tim's Talk popped in earlier. I didn't get a chance to say something to him because we were doing something. So Tim's Talk, buddy. Thank you, though. Culture Casino, the great Culture Casino popped in. We are too honored him. I don't know if he's still here, but whether he is or not, everyone gets a shout out. And we really no, CLOBBERIN is not an online thing. Stephen mentioned, it's just kind of Stephen Thompson. It's kind of I don't know. It's who knows what it is. Well, no one knows what it is.
Okay, well, I know what it is because I'm first officer, but my captain is very modest. So a bunch of us got together, and our captain's nickname is Clobby, and so we all sort of came up with this idea that we were going to have a convention, a CLOBBERIN, and we were going to go to Baton Rouge or somewhere in Louisiana, and we were all going to meet. It's centrally located located, and lots of people live in that immediate area. And maybe we could power watch some movies together, have some dinner, raise a pint or some Ractaginos, and just enjoy one another's company. And it is something that I really, really would like to put together as a community. And maybe we could do a couple of activities. Pat S. wasn't here tonight, but Pat S. wants to be a part of putting it together and stuff like that. So it is something I would like to do. I want to go and meet Clobby. I want to meet my captain. I've known him for almost 2 years now, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm actually not even sure. I knew him back when he wasn't even, he was like podcasting before. And I've really grown to love him. I really care about him. And I just love this community. And there are so many great people in this community. So I would like to meet you all. And I'm a cosplayer, Stephen. So I'd like to throw on some get on a plane, throw on some cosplay, and go and hang out with you wonderful people. So it is something we should think about getting together to do and to plan. Nothing fancy or expensive, just all of us meeting up and celebrating this great community that Clobby created for us.
Well, there you go, Stephen. I'm not invited, by the way.
Yes, he is. He's so ridiculous. I love him.
But anyway, it was an honor to have the Great Culture Casino pop in. Crazy Pineapple, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And of course, Apollo Meets Minion was here.
Yes, and the pepperoni. Be safe on the roads. I hope the roads are in good shape for you.
Ironcaster, buddy.
Yes.
It was a pleasure. Daryl the Derelict, thank you for being here.
His Would You Rather was pretty intense tonight. Ironcaster, that was a pretty intense Would You Rather.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Was here. Thank you for being here. And the Great Disaster Area, buddy. Thank you for popping in. I think we got everybody.
Tonight. You were great tonight.
You know who we forgot because he popped in late? The Great Mark D with a C.
Yeah.
Because he has been busy, but he gave us his reviews. Mark D, brother, always a pleasure, bud.
Oh, and I wanted to thank Mark D with a C on air. I just wanted to let him know that that Eric's community gift arrived to him and in good order. And it's very difficult for me to buy things and send them to the United States. And Mark is such a gentleman and such a gracious and wonderful friend that he helped me to get those gifts to you. So I just wanted to say thank you to Mark D with a C for being a great friend to me, a great friend to this channel, and a great friend in this community. So we got 2 really cool cats in some really cool socks, and the next crew will be giving away another present. And so, yeah, Mark, just thanks for helping me with that. I really appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Well, Monday night, some comics talk, and then Tuesday night, the comic book roundtable will be here. But I'll be hosting that. I forgot, 7 p.m. Central. Loki's comic book roundtable. We'll have a good guest for that. And then Wednesday night, Open Geekness. Thursday daytime, 1 p.m. Global Geek Gang, and then back here next Saturday night for some more Saturday Night Star Trek. Thank you all so much. You rock. And we will play you out with our wonderful outro intro, who was made possible for us by the wonderful First Officer RAQUEL Briggs and with some assistance from the Great Mark D with the C. Good night, everybody, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend.